All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Zyori Plus One, the Candid Conversation podcast, every other Tuesday between the Trent and Zyori podcast. Today, we've got a very exciting episode. I'm pleased to announce Richard Lewis, the esports journalist, the big, the brave, the bisexual man himself is here. Richard, thank you so much for making time for me, buddy. How are you? How you feeling?
Yeah, pretty good, man. Been chilling in quarantine like everyone else in the world, right? Trying to work through that and make sense of it. It's really weird in Britain right now. As I was telling you before we went live, we have all these like new laws that have been brought in where I live, so it's like households can't mingle. So I literally can't have my friends over. When I'd be committing a crime. So I'm just kind of sat around the house working. I just took a new job with Deserto. Helping them churn out a steady, menu of clickbait and God knows what else we get accused of. But that's fun. So a new job, lots of work, but lots of time to fill, unfortunately. So I'm just kind of sat around the house, kind of bored, man. It's like this has been the most isolated I think I've like sort of ever felt for like a long time. You know, it's like because like you can't go down a pub. Can't see your boys. They can't come over to you. So I'm just in Birmingham by myself right now. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're back in the UK now. You've recently moved back from Las Vegas. Is that a welcomed change? I guess I was a little surprised by that. It's one of those things that I regret not seizing the day when you were close to just fly down to Vegas for a weekend and hang out.
Yeah.
Now that you're on the other side of the Atlantic, it seems like, fuck, I missed the opportunity.
Well, I mean, no one was flying anyway towards the end. I had a lot of friends, like, say they wanted to come down to see me in Vegas. And then when COVID hit, like, around about February, March, I mean, fair play to Nevada. They dealt with it pretty well. We didn't have, like, a lot of cases. But, like, you know, some of the neighboring states, it was getting pretty gnarly. Like, Arizona was an absolute nightmare at the time I left. But, yeah, basically, I got scammed, essentially, in esports. I worked with a bunch of startups, and this one that I was working for out there, they basically fucked me over. So it wasn't even a choice. It was just like,
I see.
Get another job to get another visa. Oh, we're not processing new visas because of COVID right now. Yeah. So I can't earn money until I get one, which is fine. I got savings or whatever.
But still, you're just in limbo. You can't do anything.
Yeah, exactly. And then if it gets declined, I gotta get the fuck out of the country in 60 days anyway.
Right.
So I had 60 days essentially to basically like plan a move from Vegas to Birmingham in the UK.
Jesus.
Had to get a shipping company, get all my stuff on it.
Are you able to talk about the circumstances of these companies that fucked you over? Are you specifically not mentioning their names, and they are just the companies right now? Or
yeah, I've been holding back on this one because not because they're powerful or anything, but it's like I got friends who've kind of got they haven't been able to extricate themselves from the business. Like there's still a lot going on there, and it's like I don't want to fuck my friends over getting their paper on the way out. But like, when I'm ready, I'm gonna name and shame for sure, because like I don't want these people in esports. I mean, you know, if somebody like me can essentially get scammed, because it's all tied up with your immigration status and everything, it can like happen to anybody. It seemed like a very legit enterprise. The guy who promised me the world seems like a legit guy. He's been out there and done other startups, but in classic esports fashion, he was full of shit and didn't know what he was doing and fucked over the wrong person, because I'll make sure that his reputation is mud now.
Well, yeah, you're known for taking notes, right? Isn't that part of your reputation? Yeah. There's a keen attention to detail when it comes to Richard
I don't
Lewis.
even understand why me. Like, well, you know, like just don't offer me the job in the first place, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, they offered me a job for a project that they wanted to do. We were going to do like the Vice of esports is how it was pitched to me. Like back when Vice was good, not now.
Well, still,
so
I mean,
it's going to be like,
that's pretty cool though. That could be a thing if you had the budget for it.
But yeah, and they told me they did, you know, millions of dollars, and you know, here's a 6-figure salary for you, and you we'll go out and we'll do cool documentaries. I already started kicking ideas around, you know, let's go to a Call of Duty event and interview an Adderall dealer or whatever, you know, like real wild shit is what I wanted to do, right?
That sounds fucking awesome.
Yeah, so I was like, all right, I'll sign on the dotted line. Let's do this shit. So we all shook hands, and then they told me they'd never employed a foreigner before. So Yeah, foreigner. And so they had to go and get, a visa for me and all that stuff. And what they don't realize is, as things are currently, because, Donnie Darko in the White House wants to bring jobs back to American folks, right?
Right.
Like, you get what they call now a request for further evidence, RFE. And if you're applying for an exceptional persons visa, like I am, they check all of them now. They check all of them, right?
Yeah.
So they need to make sure that I'm not just some bullshit artist. So this dragged up the process for so long that they came to me and said, "Well, we didn't think it was going to take this long to actually get you working, and in the time it's took, we've decided we don't want to do the project we've hired you for." And I said, "But if you do that, then my visa is immediately terminated, and it's all been for nothing, and you've paid like 10 grand in lawyers' fees for fuck all." So basically, long story short, they kept trying to find new roles for me. But each time they found a new role for me, it came with like $25,000 being shaved off my salary. And so they kept moving me down to the point where it's like I would have been better taking a summer job in McDonald's. And I said, "Listen, guys, I'm not signing a non-compete for McDonald's money. Like, fuck that." And basically, they said, "Okay, well, wow. You can leave now." They wanted me to sign like an NDA as well, make sure I didn't torture them. But
the classic.
Yeah,
you know
wrong.
Better. Better. Come on now.
Yeah. I guess that just got lost in the post.
Oh, geez. Yeah, that's how that happens. So, what does this mean that we can't reminisce about our experiences at WSOE in Vegas? Because that was
man, we can talk about that. Like, it wasn't WSOE. I mean, I want to make it absolute. I want to make it absolutely.
Oh, that's good. I mean,
WSOE were a great company to work for, and it looks to me that they've like fizzled out and found out the hard way that there really isn't any money in events, no matter how good you make your events.
And they were pretty high budget too. I mean, those productions were serious. And I think with some esports productions, there's a point where it's a little overkill, where sometimes it ruins the flow of the show because you have all this fancy hardware and all these buttons you want to push and you want to use it. So you're finding an excuse to put it into the show. And then sometimes that ends up being a little forced in terms of translating to the audience and what they're used to. More isn't always better with production. I mean, PGL learned that with Dota as well. They went through a phase where they were moving the screen around and adding all these numbers, and it was too much. More is not always better. Sometimes simplicity is key, and don't change shit just to change shit, right?
Well, I mean, we were hiring Bruce Buffer, and
I mean, that was cool, though. That was actually hype.
Oh, it's great. It was great to hang out with Bruce at a couple of events, because I remember he brought his... I think it was his grandkids, or maybe it was his nephews. I can't remember. But anyway, they were super into Fortnite. And so we came to our Fortnite event out in LA.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I'm not a starstruck guy, but he was Mr. Buffer to me. Like, I don't give a fuck. Like, I've been following that guy's work for, as long as I've been into combat sports. So the guy's a legend. And he's so cool to work with. Just a nice guy, like sweetheart, model pro. No diva, no diva bullshit. So I mean, look, I got a recording. WSOE had Bruce Buffer do a recording where it's like, "And now the king of esports, Richard Lewis." They got him to do that, and it's like, I got some really cool stuff out of WSOE.
That's a feat of strength, dude. That's a real life achievement right there. You got a Bruce Buffer announcement. You need that as like the lead in for your fucking videos, man. You like Thorin used to have Redeye with his. You're about to get wrecked, whatever. You go. That's you right there. You got Bruce Buffer introing your name. What are you doing? You sitting on that?
Well, sit on that. I sit on a lot of the cool stuff, honestly, because it's like, I don't know. I don't want to make it look like Bruce Buffer tacitly endorses the behavior of Richard Lewis.
Well, I don't okay, that's fair.
Yeah, I don't want to do that to him. But yeah, like WSOE was really cool. There were a good bunch of people to work with. I think where they suffered a little bit was they made a couple of bad hires, which I'm sure people can figure out who I'm talking about. I won't name names, but there was
me.
There was
sorry.
No.
I didn't mean to fuck that show up, bud.
I don't mean the freelancers, and it would never be you anyway. But actual people internal to the company, and I'm sure a few people can figure out who it is, and that was a big reason why I ended up leaving the company, unfortunately, because there was a big clash internally. But other than that, I mean, they were just a great company to work for, and they probably overpaid. They overpaid me. I make no bones about it. They pay me way too much money.
I probably should have asked for more. One of my fellow Dota talent told me a number, and he said, "I thought I told you to ask for this." And I said, "If you said that, I don't remember that." And I think I was a steal for that event, to be perfectly honest. I don't know if you saw my number or not, or if you recall, but.
Well, technically, I was in charge of hiring people. I mean, I didn't sign the checks, but so I probably do know what you got. But
I just pasted it to you.
Sorry if we fucked you over.
Well, no, I mean,
but what you have to remember is as well.
I'm a contractor. It's on me.
Yeah, but didn't we fuck you over twice anyway? Because didn't we have you in and then have you out and then have you in again because someone canceled?
So there were two different Dota WSOE events, right? The first one I worked, and that event was really awesome in a lot of ways and really unique, and I'll never forget it because I connected with you and I connected with Lyrical at that event. And before that, I always had a weird relationship with Lyrical because he is the co-caster with Trent that I kind of share. Trent and I were a duo, but then I didn't get invited to TI, and Trent and Lyrical did. So there's always been a little bit of just implicit tension there of whatever. And that event, we really became bros and like hugged it out and talked it out. And like now we're actually really good friends. So
cool.
That event was worth it just to enable that, man. The first Dota event was the one where Serenity won, the Chinese team.
Yeah, I remember that.
They did not plan for that. They didn't have an interpreter there, so interviewing them was difficult.
Yeah, we fucked that up.
Do you remember what they wanted to do for the award ceremony? It's pretty embarrassing.
Because the two events have blurred into one for me. Honestly.
Okay, so at the first one at the end, it was you, me, Moxie, Breaky, Capitalist, Lyrical. I think that was the talent pool.
Yeah.
And I was the interviewer with Lauren. I forget what her last name is. She now works for the Avalanche. Lauren Jabara. Yeah, she's in Colorado now. She does stuff for Denver Sports. She's a really good professional interviewer. She was great to work with. And Breaky and Moxie were casting together, which was an interesting talent choice. Two play-by-play casters. But anyway, the Chinese team won, and I don't think they thought Team Serenity was going to be that good. And at the end, they wanted me to interview them. And so one of the producers suggested that no matter what they say, we just say that they want to challenge OG to the next one. They really wanted a rivalry, like championship thing. And we're like, but that's not what they said. And they're like, well, it doesn't matter. Nobody will know the difference. It's like, except anyone watching that speaks Mandarin will know. What the fuck? And that
I like that plan. I thought I think that's what we should do from now on. Like, it doesn't matter what your answer is. If it's not in English, it's whatever we want it to be.
But
great job.
But that was a moment where you stepped up because I was originally supposed to do that, and I think you saw the look on my face of like, this guy wants to tell these dudes to fuck off, but doesn't know how to do it. And I think you could see my face twisting into a pretzel. So you were like, fuck it, I'll do it. I'll handle this. And then you went in the back and you guys came up with some fucking plan. And you made the very smart call to have that conversation not in front of the other talent, because I'm sure there were probably some goofy ideas suggested in that.
Yeah, I mean, I've been around that for a while, and it's like you get a good read. And like the one thing I've always hated companies doing, and so I wasn't going to let WSOE do it, is when you put your bullshit onto a freelancer. And it stuck in my mind ever since Riot Games did it with League of Legends at their Worlds event, where they had technical problems. I think this was at Season 2 Worlds or something. It's a long time ago. But anyway, they sent DJ Wheat, who they'd hired as a fucking freelancer host, out to apologize to the crowd. And it's like, what you do? Like, you know, fuck me, dude. Like, it's not on him. It's, you know, he's freelance talent. Like, where's Mark Merrill coming out?
Yeah, he's the messenger of messengers, man. Come on.
Yeah, exactly. And it's bullshit. It's bullshit because angry fans will go for what's in front of them, you know? And it's like, it's not fair to do that to your talent. So, you know, when I saw, because obviously, like, our guy Loy was he was a crazy creative mind. I loved working with him, but man, he was wild. He nearly killed me. He nearly exploded me. He did this thing with he bought these fucking knockoff fireworks from a Native American reservation.
I remember this, yeah.
And so part of the promo was I had to throw a bundle of these fireworks over my shoulder, and he said, like, oh, I've got these timed fuses, so you got plenty of time, you can do it nice and slow. When he fucking set fire to this fuse, and it just went, it was like Mission Impossible, but on like 10 times speed. It was fucking ridiculous. So I've like just had to launch it straight away. I burnt my neck, burnt my hand, and it literally exploded just behind the chair. Like it could have just as easily gone off in my face, gone off in my. Would have took my hand off, no doubt about it.
You could be deaf in one ear right now, Rich. You could be the guy that's going, "Fucking what? What'd you say, mate? You gotta speak up."
Yeah,
that could be you.
So it was fucking bad, man. But anyway, Loy was a guy who, like, you know, he's a crazy creative type. So, and you know, directed Super Bowls. You know, worked for Fox Sports, I think. So done a bunch of stuff, like high level stuff. You know, he's very good at what he does. But you know, I think he didn't really understand the position that you were going to be put in by doing something like that. Because obviously, you know, there's a process that happens. It goes out on air, no one says anything. Then it goes up on Reddit. People start noticing that what you're saying doesn't line up with what they're saying. Then it goes over to the Chinese media. You're disrespecting us. Suddenly, Zyori hates the Chinese.
Wouldn't the team feel disrespected by that? I'm just literally putting words in their mouth. Like, and the whole thing fell flat when you said that you were going to try to prompt them to challenge someone. You're like, anybody? Like, maybe OG, since they just won TI, and they were like, no. We don't really want to challenge anyone because they were afraid of being disrespectful. Like,
yeah, but that's the thing as well. Culturally, like this is the other thing I was trying to explain backstage. It's like it's not in you know the nature. It's not like American call out culture. It's like they would consider that offensive and insulting, and you're trying to make them do something they're fundamentally uncomfortable with. So I'll try and coax it out of them, but we might but be prepared. We don't get the soundbite. So when we do our package for number 2 or whatever, we might need to put someone else in there. But I knew I had to jettison you out, man.
I mean,
like,
it was appreciated.
I didn't want you to take the fucking heat for that. That would have sucked.
There was a moment. You're a good friend, and someone that I've only known through this event. Jason, the producer guy. What's his handle? Alka something. You know.
Oh, you mean Alchemist? Yeah, Jason Baker.
Is it just Alchemist? Yeah, Jason Baker. That's his last name. Spacing. But he was there, and he witnessed an exchange I had with the producers when we were trying to interview Team Serenity. And there was one girl in the back that was Chinese, from Chinese descent, and spoke some Mandarin. And they were going to try to use her as an interpreter. And she was like a production assistant or something. So she knew nothing about esports. And I was trying to gauge whether or not it was a good idea to do this interview. And I was like, do you know any of the Dota translations? And she was like, I don't really know what Dota is. And Jason was standing there, and I made the call to, like, let's just not do this. This is going to be too hard, too awkward. Like that. It's not going to work. It's, you know, no offense to you. It's just you need to understand these specific relative terms, because like Lifestealer is little dog and Lena is fire lady. So it's like you just wouldn't know it unless you knew it. It's sort of these random whatever. And after they walked away, he kind of pulled me aside and was like, that was a good fucking call. You know, like just sort of the fist bump. Like if I were the producer, I would have made the exact same decision, because that was a train wreck waiting to happen. So, but at the same time, it was cool that they did leave it up to the talent to decide. Like I respected that they said, do you think this is a good idea? I said no, and they said, all right, cool. And then we didn't do it. And that's kind of a rare thing in esports productions. Yeah,
I mean, they were good like that. I'll say that, like, Loy was sort of generally, the head producer was generally, like, the most forceful voice in the room. Everyone else was pretty well, you know, experienced and understood that you get a better broadcast if people are comfortable with what they're doing. But, I mean, this is why it was like, you know, we when I was doing hires, I always wanted to have somebody like that, you know, you can get them to do anything. So when we did PUBG, it was like Mustache Dave, because I knew he was game for anything. He would do anything, you know.
Right.
He was doing a push-up, you know, that big cameraman, the guy who was absolutely fucking stacked. That huge dude. You know, we got him doing a press-up competition with that guy, and you know, Lauren Jabara was a great example for that, because she's doing courtside sports interviews where sometimes you got to be a little bit cheeky. You got to get in there, you know, like, and you know, and catch somebody between moments when they've got a job to do, and you know, so that it was like, it was definitely like not rough and ready, because it was very high polished. Like I thought our products were like really good in terms of the polish we put out there, but we were coming up with a lot of stuff on the fly. And we were trying to get those like almost like iconic moments, because we knew we didn't have like a lot of time to kind of project ourselves into the consciousness of esports fans, right? It was why we did everything so big, because we were playing catch up to people who've been doing it for years, if not decades.
I would
ESL
describe
and
it as
stuff like that.
polished but maxed out. It's like everything you guys did, like every room was full to the brim. You know, you had 2 teams playing at once or 2 sets playing at once in this little area where it's like, I don't think you could put another computer in this space and still have it be manageable. Like it was very tight, doable, but everything was pushed to the limit. And it's that polished within the chaos for sure. The production value was top notch.
But it was a good time, you know, and it was
fun.
There was
a great vibe on set for sure.
Like I'm sad we didn't get to do a lot of the other stuff because I really liked working with you know, some of the guys over there, but like I said, there was like one dude in particular that just like was attached to a bunch of shit I couldn't be adjacent to, you know, because I built up almost 2 decades worth of being like Mr. Integrity and doing investigative. Like I'm not throwing it away to stand next to a coworker that probably shouldn't even be at the company, all things considered.
Right.
So that was why I had to get out of that, unfortunately. Otherwise, you know, there's a chance I could have still been there, right? And it did set off a sort of catastrophic bunch of events for me, honestly. But
well, speaking of talent that will do anything, is that why you like Slack so much? Because that motherfucker's game for anything?
Well, yeah, I mean, like, so I get on with Slacks pretty well. And we again, not always, because my reaction to a lot of Dota talent was like only what I see on social media, and obviously, as I've come to realize, you know, social media makes us all look like an asshole. You know, it's the nature of the beast. Because it's like, what is Twitter actually for? It's about giving a quick.
It's an echo chamber. That's what it's for.
Well, yeah, but also, I mean, it's like you throw out an opinion like 280 characters into the void. You don't know who's going to see it, in what context. You don't have a lot of time to kind of qualify your opinion, but there's an expectation you will articulate an opinion on whatever is topical that day. You must do that, in fact, if you want to gain followers, gain attention. It's like, you know, they call them takes now, which I hate, but you know, it's the take factory, isn't it? That's what we do. We just churn out opinion after opinion after opinion, and people disagree with opinions. So no matter how good or well-informed your opinion is, you'll find another asshole on the internet that's willing to argue to the death over your opinion. So it's horrible. It's a waste of time. And you know, I've fallen into that trap a lot. I used to look over at the Dota talent before I got to know a lot of them, and I would base my opinion of them just on, you know, the shit they were tweeting. And what I saw was a bunch of like hyper sort of semi-elitist nerds that would do things that I would consider like poor form, bad behavior for other talent. Like one of the reasons why I always had an issue with like Purge, for example, was like, I don't know if people remember, there was that time Machine, who was like from our talent pool, a CS guy. I think he went over, and it was when he was hosting a TI or something. But he was hosting some Dota event. I think it was TI. I think it was a big one. And basically, like Purge was getting some audio feedback or something, or someone talking in his ear, and like Machine was trying to set Purge up for one of his big screen segments, and Purge just said, well, if you'd shut up, I'll get on with it then. And I was like, fucking hell, like, mate, are you all right? I wouldn't dream of that. Like, I mean, no matter how pissed off you are with someone like working on a broadcast, I would never say something like that on fucking air where everyone can see. Makes it super awkward for the rest of the show. And so I think I called Purge out for that. And then a few other Dota guys like rose up and were like, well, you don't know what was going on behind the scenes. And I'm like, I don't give a fuck. It should never bleed out onto the broadcast. So, you know, there was a few people we had arguments. I'm pretty sure Slacks was one of them. I think I called him a rubber-faced cartoon twat or something. I can't even remember. But then, you know, you have to understand, like, I mean...
It's funny because people say he sounds like Mickey Mouse, so that's weirdly on point.
Oh, he does.
That's really... That hits a little close to home there, buddy. You really, like, cut him to the quick, maybe incidentally.
Well, so, yeah, but it's like... So, the other thing is, as well, as it's like, you know, I don't really mean that stuff. That's not who I am. But all of my friends in esports, all of my, like, really, really good friends, that we all started like that. We all start from a place of combat. I think what you do is you show somebody like, I'm an independent human with my own opinions. Are you willing to challenge that? Because I don't want to be friends with sycophants or like, you know, like people who don't have strong opinions of their own. And if they push back, then great, we can probably get along. And Slacks did. And then, we started talking privately, and I realized actually Slacks watches a lot of my content, and I obviously secretly follow Dota, and therefore by extension I watch a lot of Slacks' content. So it was just a silly little thing that we were doing in public for no real reason. And then I consider him a pal and someone that I'd really like to work with at some point in the future, because I think I've worked with almost all of the best talent in Dota. With obviously. The exception of some of the casters and Slacks.
I think it's funny how Dota is like your secret side addiction. It's like
it has to be.
Every so often you'll tweet a little win streak or some little nod towards a big player move or something, and outside of that, it's keep your head down. Richard Lewis and Dota. I mean, do you have plans to do anything in Dota in the future? Any thoughts, or is it staying away? Too hot?
I talked about this recently with Thorin, and it's like. The reality is, I mean, so when I put the Slacks interview out that I did recently, I think that's a great episode of my podcast. I think Slacks is a great guest. I think unlike a lot of interviewers, like, I don't care. I'll bull in a China shop on a topic, so we talked about the Me Too stuff that was going on in Dota, and we talked about whether or not the game's dying, and we talked about, how the subreddit has this insane elitist attitude, like, just because they throw in a buck or five for fucking... the battle pass, they think Valve has to basically be on speed dial to them, and they've always felt that way, since they were doxing people for not getting dietied. And I don't like that shit in the community. I think that's like really unpalatable. But equally, as well, I think I'd like to think that if they're so elitist and so smart, because we all know you have to have a high IQ to play Dota and watch Rick and Morty. I'd like to think that those guys could recognize good content when it was like served up to them, but they're not interested in that. There was like 300 comments in that thread, and I'd probably say about 90% of them were people arguing about fictitious versions of the Loda incident, like things that objectively didn't happen, things that objectively aren't true.
I've been there a little bit. I
get it, man. I like totally.
Well, sorry, go ahead.
No. I was just gonna say, and you can talk about your thing if you want to. I'm down for that.
No, I got a taste of that with the sniff thing, where anything with my face on it, when I got hired at BTS, when I still had the dreads and had that look, that conversation would start again, and that became the troll way to play it, is go in and say, hey, I don't understand what this is. Can somebody explain the meme? And then somebody tries to explain it, and then it's like they're playing Whisper Down the Lane in the follow-ups of trying to get the details and course of events, and it slowly streams into these alternate realities of like, guys, I don't feel the need to defend myself, but half this shit is like, that's not what happened. Go fucking watch the video if you really want to see what they're talking about. But this is now getting fictitious because everybody has a different lens and memory on stuff when it's 3, 4, 5 years removed. But anyway, I didn't mean to interrupt you there.
No, it's good, brother. I mean,
I feel you a bit. It's tough.
I've checked the fucking oil before. What are we even talking about here? Like human fucking moments. We got to pretend that they don't happen. Like, it's so weird, dude. Like, people are insane. But anyway. Yeah, so this was like, I'm looking at this thread and people are going, yeah, well, it was all thanks to Loda. He wasn't thrown in prison. It's like, Swedish law doesn't work like that. If there's any evidence of a crime, they have to arrest me. They have to arrest me, like, get the evidence and send it to a prosecutor. It's like we've got the same thing in the UK, like an unwilling victim law. They brought it in so like vulnerable people don't get intimidated into not pressing charges against, people that are committing crimes against them or are in positions of power over them. Sweden has the exact same thing. But forget all of that. I said it before. I've spent 5 years being contrite and apologizing for lies, essentially. Here's the bottom line. Here's what happened, right? Kelly misinterpreted and Loda both misinterpreted a joke, which was about Hiko's mother. In fact, you want to know what? Because I've been packing my shit and I didn't actually get this out for this. I've still got the sign.
Oh my God. I don't believe that you didn't have that prepared. It was just fucking sitting right here.
No,
like,
I had it out on stream. I had it out on stream the other day. So you can see there, right? Proud mom Proud Mom Hiko. Proud Mom Hiko. I'll show you the reverse side. You can see someone who love Bulbasaur, and it's a sign for Neo, and it's got a unicorn logo in the bottom. This is the exact sign. So I'm walking back, and I pick that up, right? Now, I thought maybe Hiko's mother was at the event. Now, I know Hiko. Me and Spencer are fucking friends. We've been friends for years, but we were in sort of a kind of a weird place because of the whole I Buy Power thing, right? And where basically he was going to go and play with the players who got banned, right?
Yeah.
And so I was trying to like make nice with him because I felt really bad about that. He'd done nothing wrong, but a great opportunity had been denied to him because of their actions and my reporting. So when I saw that sign, I thought I'll tweet at my boy Hiko and basically say like, "Haha, I've had sex with your mother." Haha, lol. You know, British banter, right? And it's Kelly's sign. Because she's doing that fucking irritating thing, you know, where people in esports organizations can't keep it professional, right? And she's saying, I am your mother. I'm like your mother. Just be my manager. Just shut the fuck up. You know what I mean? Like, what are you doing? So she's doing that. I don't know. So there's the sign. You saw it yourself. So I've made that joke. And of course, because it's Kelly's sign, Loda thinks what I'm saying is I've had sex with Kelly, which, mate... Never ever, mate. Never ever. So he's so I don't understand why he's getting upset. I think it's to do with Hiko because Kelly had already said to me on Twitter that I had ruined Hiko's life and his career by publishing that story. Because remember, she was working for Alliance, and Alliance and EG were essentially the same business, and they were gonna go play under the evil genius's banner. See, all this additional detail, like Dota twats that just tell the fucking live version of what happened, don't know. They don't know about it. All of this gets lost, right? Yeah. So all of this context is important. So then Loda's tweeting at me. Basically saying like, "Oh, I'm gonna come and find you. I'm gonna come find you." So I'm like, "Yeah, do it, mate." Like I made a joke.
I'm easy to find. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, I'm easy to find because I'm on stage. He'd been knocked out of the tournament, like earlier, so he's not on stage. That's the clever bit of banter there that's going on, guys. For all the people who missed it, the people who were saying it's a direct invite, you fucking morons. So anyway, he comes backstage because it's Loda. All the Swedish security guards, which by the way is an oxymoron, because all the real men in Sweden died on the fucking Viking longboats, like in 800s. Because these guys did fuck all. They couldn't have done less if they tried. They just sat there. He's shouting and screaming. And I'm like, "Are you Loda?" I don't even know who Loda is. I don't follow Dota. I don't care. So he's walking towards me. He goes in. He's got, because remember, he's bald and can't cope with it, right? And he can't just rock it out. So he even turned his baseball cap backwards like Fred Durst or some shit. You know that baseball cap he's always wearing?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he flipped it round and he's giving it that. He's giving me fucking forehead to the face. So what do you think happened to that point? Like, security guards ain't stopping him. DreamHack employees ain't stopping him. So I now have a choice. I can be the guy who gets headbutted by fucking Loda and live with that for the rest of my life. Or I can give him the old little thumbsies.
The old strangle?
Yeah. Well, that's what they say. It was that. It was that. It's a thing you get taught if you work as a security guard. If anyone invades your space, best way, like, and they're leaning like that, best way to get rid of them is go for, round the trachea. It's so uncomfortable and unpleasant in the neck.
Right, it's sensitive.
Yeah. People recoil, but you don't do any lasting damage. You don't hurt them.
Yeah.
It's better than throwing a punch or whatever.
The trach punch. Wow, look at you, Mr. MMA. My gosh.
So I did used to do that as well, which was another reason why it was a fucking dumb idea for this guy to get involved. So anyway, that right then, because once that happens, Kelly starts saying to all of the DreamHack employees, Alliance is owned by Twitch. We're going to complain to Twitch if you don't kick him out. And you must call the police. And in fact, I'm going to call the police. So they threw me outside and confiscated my phone, letting Loda tweet his version. Right. Well, I'm just stood in a car park outside, not knowing, oblivious to all of this. Right, DreamHack under tremendous pressure to offer up a sacrificial lamb because Kelly's saying we're gonna get your I'll get your Twitch partnership removed from DreamHack and all. She doesn't have that pull or authority, but like I say, Alliance being owned by Twitch was like it's why I got fucked as hard because they were panicking about the broadcast deal and stuff.
I see.
And then by the time I come back in from outside, the police are there. I'm interviewed. They interview the eyewitnesses who say, yeah, Loda was the aggressor. He was like trying to, like, Richard definitely acted in self-defense. No journalist is interested in interviewing anyone who said that, by the way. There's literally like 5 or 6 eyewitnesses that corroborate my version of events. Like, but they've just never been interviewed. You know, and then but when people go, well, it's your friends, isn't it? It's like, no, I'm friends with the people I work with. There's still independent beings capable of telling the truth, you know?
Right.
So anyway, basically, the police said, you have acted in self-defense. We are not arresting you. We are not charging you with anything. Have a nice day. And then because DreamHack still wanted to kick me off the broadcast, but it was Faceit's event. It was Faceit's CS event. So Faceit said, it's our event. You don't get to dictate who we have on the broadcast. So I even finished the broadcast. I never got kicked out. I never got banned. But then once we'd ended the show, DreamHack were trying to get me to sign an NDA. Like, mate, it was like that fucking. Have you ever seen the game show Deal or No Deal in the UK?
Oh yeah.
Right. They brought out a phone to where I was sat and said, "Oh, you know, pick it up." And it was Loda from the hotel.
Okay.
And he was on the phone going, "Yeah, I think this situation has got out of hand, but I am just worried that when you get back, I don't know why he's Dutch."
This accent. This is me doing a British accent, dude.
But I'm just worried that when you get back, that you will say things and make me look silly. And I'm going, look, mate, I'll say what the fuck I want now. Like you brought Twitter into the fucking occasion, you mad cunt. Like you brought Twitter to the party. So what am I gonna do? And so DreamHack were trying to get me to sign an NDA, saying I wouldn't talk about it. And if I signed it, they said they would still hire me. But I said no. I reserve the right to talk about this. So I got back. DreamHack hadn't made a statement about whether or not they'd work with me, and I tweeted out, "I will never work with DreamHack again because of how badly they handled security."
Oh,
they
you got
came
ahead
back.
of it. Ah.
Yep, I literally did it while I was in the taxi coming out of Jönköping, and they basically then at that point. It was, I must be offered up to the sacrificial god of esports. Hellspawn put out that bullshit statement, complete lies, of course, saying I wrestled Loda to the floor or something. Like, you have to remember, Hellspawn was crying.
Why?
He's just mental, isn't he? He's just not normal. He's just not a normal human being.
I've only talked to him for a cumulative of like 15 minutes in my entire life, so I've got no judgment on the guy.
Right?
He told me I was a good commentator, and I said thanks, and I asked him if he liked Dota, and he said yes, and then I didn't hear what he said next, so I just waved and walked away. It was at an after party where the music was kind of loud, so It wasn't a real conversation. He was a sweet statue.
So he basically like was crying and go, "What did you do? What did you do?" And I was like, "Are you all right, mate? Like, this is normal. This is like just a Friday night in Britain. Like, someone tried to get wide."
Well, yeah. You're a rough and tumble Brit. I've never even been in a physical altercation, Richard. I would have been crying too. Jeez, who am I to judge?
Even Loda said afterwards, because we all shook hands. I thought it was going to be fine. Like, I honestly thought, like, me and Loda, I don't even necessarily blame Loda as much as all the other parties. I blame DreamHack more. I blame Kelly more. I even blame Twitch, by the way, to a certain degree, for not just telling them straight, like, your broadcast is under no threat. Like, we couldn't be bothered less. I was sat next to a Twitch employee when all this started. Sat next to Tosspot. So anyway, like for me, like I just, like Loda even said, like, why were you scared? And I said, because you were putting your head in my face. And he's going, yeah, but I'm Swedish. I don't fight people. How am I supposed to figure all this out? I react to the stimuli I'm given. So anyway, long story short,
I see.
You know, that's pretty much right. I'll be willing to say there might be one or two details in there I've got wrong because it's been 5 years, but I'd say that's 98%.
Right. That's the Richard Lewis truth. Gotcha.
No. That is not a twit longer. The truth. Okay. That is the truth. Maybe bar one or two details that are incorrect.
Well,
due to
I can see that you've processed all this and put it all to rest. I'm glad it's no longer weighing on you, my friend.
No, but it's the thing. It shouldn't be weighing on me. After 5 years, should it? But people, it's all people talk about. It is the most lied about incident in esports history. It's ridiculous. And here's what I don't get. Even if it was true that Loda had tried to attack me and I wrecked him, which isn't true, but let's say that was true. Isn't that like, doesn't everyone have some sort of sense of like natural justice? Like, doesn't someone, like, don't people go to like, what's that, like subreddit, like instant justice or whatever, where it's like someone will be like shouting at someone and just get sparked out completely by like some small dude, and everyone will go, oh, that's brilliant. That's the natural order of things, except when it's Richard Lewis, evidently.
Yeah.
So to answer your question, sorry, that was a roundabout way of answering the question. Until the Dota community are like capable of accepting like some fundamental basic facts, I don't see the point in creating Dota content unless on some level it nourishes me, because it's going to get downvoted and it's going to be hundreds of comments debating a thing that objectively never happened. So what's the point?
Yeah, I see. I guess I don't have a good answer for you. I would have thought if you'd asked me this 3 or 4 years ago, like, enough time passes, you do enough good content, you slowly win people over. A lot of talent in Dota have a very topsy-turvy history. There was a long time where Shiver was not a very accepted talent in the Dota community. That sounds crazy now because she's so beloved and so tier 1, but when she was first starting out, she didn't quite have a niche for herself. We didn't have events big enough where there were regular desk hosts, so that wasn't quite a role yet. She was a caster, but she spoke Dutch first, so with her accent, she wasn't, a true tier 1 caster at the time. She wasn't quite an analyst. She was sort of an interviewer. She bounced around, and she found her place eventually, but a lot of it was through perseverance, and that's what won over the respect of the Dota folks. And also, improving, and over time you build this catalog of experiences with players where you can show up at events and talk, anecdotally about experiences with players, and that gives you such an advantage over any other host that might be polished in some other category. But it's like the Dota rite of passage. Everybody is hated before they're loved, and you got to get through the hatred. It's sort of like you said before, you got to prove you're tough enough to get through the hatred, and then they start to accept you. So I don't know, buddy. Maybe it's for you, instead of the normal timeline, it's just a 2Xer because you're Richard Lewis and you're banned from the League of Legends subreddit, and some of that trickles over for sure. I see people talking about that.
Technically banned from all of Reddit. I'm not allowed to have an account.
Well, but Richard Lewis content can be on the Dota subreddit, though. You're not like your name is not scrubbed from the entire site of Reddit, is it? Am I mistaken?
No.
I thought that was a League of Legends subreddit specific.
Yeah, that's a League of Legends thing. Although Hellspawn is a moderator on the Dota 2 subreddit, so make of that what you will.
I see.
But yeah, I think it sucks, man. Like I have no interest in, like, I'm an established guy. I'm not going to jump through hoops. Like my MO isn't to pander to or placate communities. I think the Dota community is one of the worst for having talent that does that anyway. Actually, what the Dota talent needs is a healthy dose of reality, because your game has a lot of problems. And outside of Kyle, really, I don't see a lot of people that have like the balls to actually stand up to the community and kind of like tell them some of the hard truths.
Are you insulting my manhood, Richard?
Not really, but I think to a certain degree, I think you're I don't know, you don't strike me as that. You don't strike me as necessarily a hostile or combative person anyway.
No, I feel bad when I upset people. I don't like having those really good gotchas on Twitter. Like, a lot of times I write tweets that I think are legitimately funny, but they're put down tweets, and then I think about how I'll feel if that person DMs me or doesn't take it right. Like, one time I played against a really small streamer who was getting boosted in a matchmaking, and I got matched against her twice. And in the second one, she was like, "Sorry, your teammates are so bad." And it really triggered me that she would imply that it's like, you're. It's just like, come on, just if you admit that you're what you're doing. I don't really give a shit, but don't act like you're not getting boosted right now. So I screenshotted it and tweeted it, and she DM'd me and said, "I feel so terrible. You made me feel like I'm just an awful person and I'm a hypocrite." And it's a stupid minor thing, and I'm using that as a good example because I'm sensitive to it. I feel bad when I make other people feel bad, even if I feel justified in that moment of rage. So I try to dial it back. I try to go the opposite way. When I feel the rage monkey scratching in the back of my head, I try to step back.
Yeah, with me, it's like I try and do it less these days. But I mean, my triggers, unfortunately, are people who tell lies and people who are stupid. And that really doesn't leave me with a lot of wriggle room on the internet, unfortunately. Jesus. Yeah, and I get really triggered by that stuff. I really do. I find stupidity an absolute loathsome quality. I can't get beyond it. Oh, because I only want. It's not that. It's I don't care if you're like uninformed about a subject. That can happen, but at least know you're uninformed, and therefore, when someone knows more about it than you, be open to listening probably is a good idea.
It's like a willful ignorance mixed with arrogance. I don't know what that's called, but I kind of know what you mean. There's a formula there that upsets me too.
The people that are the least informed about a topic are generally the ones that express their opinions on that topic with the most confidence. And I loathe it. I can't pretend that's all right with me because it's not. And I see people do it all the time. I see people in esports go, "Do you remember when Richard Lewis did this thing?" And it's a fabrication. They've conflated me with someone else or whatever. And then they'll argue with me over it happening. And they can't produce any evidence that it ever happened. And you'll argue with these people back and forth until you get them to a point where you have now presented the objective reality that they are wrong, and they still can't just say, no one can say I'm wrong on the internet. Yeah. It's insane the lengths people will go to just not admit that they're wrong. Like, just free yourself of that. Like, just say I'm wrong. Like, it doesn't, the world doesn't end. Well, but they can't do it. And, they'll say, "Oh, but I misremembered, so it's okay that I essentially told a lie in public," or, I mean, I guess maybe kind of, sort of, I might be wrong if you look at it this way. Like, no, you are objectively 100% fucking wrong, you moron. Own it. Own it. And they won't. And that is a huge trigger to me, because the way social media works with its systems is that, like you said earlier with Twitter, it's an echo chamber, right? And Reddit is an even worse echo chamber, because it literally is like the mouse in the lab that gets the cheese when you say the right words. Mm-hmm. They've done multiple studies. The first 3 comments in a Reddit thread will dictate what everyone else says in a Reddit thread. People are that easily led. And anyone that dissents, you only need net 5 people to disagree with your opinion to make it disappear. That's if the mods don't manipulate it. That's if the algorithm doesn't manipulate it. There's all these tools now you can use where you can just literally set certain opinions, certain keywords, certain users to just not appear. Their posts just don't show up in a subreddit. And so you get this very sort of controlled artificial reality. And it encourages stupidity. It encourages lies. It encourages misinformation. And that's by design, unfortunately. I really think it is. And when you apply it to like just our small world, esports, I don't know a single member of talent, a single influencer, a single professional that doesn't have one story about them that is like a lie that is told ad infinitum and gets crazier and crazier each time it's told.
Yeah, it's the whisper down the lane effect. I mean, you can replicate that game so simple, even as an adult. 10 people, stand them up, start with a word or a phrase, pass it down, and see where it ends up at the end. And it always gets altered. There's something about that human lens that we can't. We suck at reporting objective reality in a lot of ways. But maybe I'm wrong here, but it does seem like you've laid off the Twitter a little bit. Sometimes I think of you as a Twitter addict, my friend, and sometimes I see you popping off. I'm like, oh, he's on the sauce again. Not the literal sauce, but the Twitter sauce. No.
No, I'm probably on the sauce as well. In fact, now what I do is I save it for when I'm hungover.
Oh,
if you ever see me tweeting a lot in a single day, I've probably been ripped to the tits the night before, and I'm lying in bed, and all I can do is tweet sick burns and dunks.
But am I wrong though? Have you been taking a little more time off Twitter, or did I just start watching during a bad phase? Because there was a period where I worried a little bit for your mental health, just having to deal with so much negativity on Twitter, whether you're justified or right in your side of the argument. It's a lot of negativity for one person, mate. And I know you don't have an intern on that shit. I know that's you.
Yeah, without putting too fine a point on it, because it's it is difficult to talk about. It was so I guess Wheeler met in kind of 2018, 2019.
I think was the first WSOE. Late 2018, November, October.
So, at that point, you have to understand, I'm making a lot of money, I got a lot of, and everything's going great. I'm living in Vegas. I'm out partying all the time. I can do whatever I want. I'm living in a mansion, and I'm starting to do that human thing where I get this, warped perspective on what matters in life. And then, obviously what comes with that is this, the trivialities and the nonsense that you waste your life with, which I'm not to say I'm suddenly zen and above it all now. I mean, it's all bullshit. But I indulge with the bullshit I engage with the bullshit less. After Maria passed away, that was like that whole thing like just hurt so much, and still does, that you realize like all of it, like wasting your time with this stuff isn't good for the soul. And it gave me a perspective on kind of like just like who I was in at that moment in time, and like and so it's the pain of going through all that and still going through all that kind of makes me realize, that there are way more important things to be doing than being stuck in some narcissistic loop where you're the guy who has to correct everyone on the internet all the time. But I'm still doing it.
Oh,
It's
a process, I'm sure.
I still engage in that kind of behavior from time to time. I'm still there on social media arguing with people when I see them say something objectively false, typically about me. But it's like, I understand that that's not healthy. It's real hard right now because there's nothing else to fucking do.
Yeah, right.
It's work. It's computers. I'm already at the desk. I'll take a break. I'll alt tab. There's my Twitter window. Oh, look, someone's saying something stupid again. I mean, the level of just nonsense and stupidity I get exposed to on a daily basis, I think is like, people say
it's
I have
a lethal
thin
dose,
skin.
man.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. It's Chernobyl levels of stupidity, and nonsense. But yeah, like I don't know, man. It's a hard one because it's like, on the one hand, I want to be better than that. Like, I admire people that can rise above. Like, a lot of it is fake and contrived. I hope people do realize that too. Like, a lot of these people that act super nice on social media, yeah, exactly. They do it because they're protecting a brand, and they're complete assholes backstage. Complete assholes when they're talking to, people who they perceive to be the little people, talking to their fellow colleagues and co-workers, but they have a great social media game and a great public presentation game. Me, it's the other way around. Like, I think, like, without trying to, again, sound arrogant or, weird, I know I'm pretty comfortable in myself to know that I can get along with anyone, and I'm generally a nice guy. You have to do something pretty bad to get me actually pissed off with you in person, so we can't sit down and have a beer and a laugh and a chat about it. And I'll talk to anybody about anything, and I'll try and be there for anybody for anything. But, like, if you come at me on social media and you say something rude or disrespectful or false, I'm going to pull your card. And I think I've got the right to. I don't really give a fuck. Like, my brand is, like, I am Richard Lewis. Like, I'm not interested in having personas and wearing many faces. Like, you either like what you see, and Twitter isn't the be all and end all of that, but it's part of it, or you don't. And I don't give a fuck either way.
Yeah,
so
I mean, it's definitely not a matter of rights. It's just a matter of concern for you as a person. I mean, I think exactly what you just described is so astute and well said, and I'm glad to hear you say it, that at least you recognize it's not good to be trapped in that bubble all the time, and sometimes you gotta fucking reset from that negative feedback loop, because it is a little addictive. I say that somewhat facetiously, but it's designed to capture your attention, and it's all engagement, and it's I'm glad to hear that, buddy. I wish we could be doing this in real life, because you look like the kind of guy that needs a hug right now. And I can't do that from where I'm at. But
also we'd have to adhere to social distancing protocols and wear masks, right?
Fucking so UK, mate.
We can have like a force hug from 6 feet away. Otherwise, you got a license for that hug, mate.
We'll do a digital hug. They're just as good.
Yeah. No, I mean, look, I won't lie. It's been tough, and I've been going through a lot and going through a lot publicly, and I want to say it's like, hit absolute rock bottom. I lost my mind a couple of times, like really recently had like, some complete breakdowns, and I know I'm just sort of taking one day at a time, and I mean, like, it's a weird time for all of this to be happening, because you can't even really sort of assemble a support network or whatever.
Yep.
Like, since I got back to Britain, I've seen my friends who I hadn't seen in 6 years. I've seen them like 3 times, and I've been back like what 7 months, something like that.
That's brutal.
It's like it's no one can go out, and so you just cooped up, and I pot around the house. When I'm not working, I'm talking to myself all the time and fucked up crazy shit. Like, it does feel like unbelievably surreal. But in general, I think I'm doing okay. I think I'm doing a lot better now than I was. I want to say, like, when I first got back to Britain, like, I was I was a mess. I went through all the stress of having to fly back and not knowing if my stuff was going to turn up. I was in an empty house sleeping in an airbed.
Yeah, that's
on an airbed.
That's stress-inducing. That's
at 38. Back to like, I was like literally sort of waking up and just sort of like, why are you still doing this? Like most people would have just checked out. Like, no people, this isn't how it was meant to be. But yeah, I powered through, man.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. Every time I start to feel the craziness of being locked inside and not really leaving the house, and I mean, we can go for walks and stuff. We can still go out and go shopping, but we've been trying to lock down as much as we can. We are a little bit lucky to have work that we can do mostly online, and not completely, because I think we're all a little bit addicted to events and that like physical change of pace by going to a new place and seeing all your mates. And we all have these really weird esports relationships of people I see 1 to 4 times a year, and we're really good friends, but outside of those events, we don't really talk that much or like really engage. And those relationships are a big part of our lives as esport folk. And missing that is hard, but at least we've got something. There are people with worse work circumstances right now for sure. So not to belittle your struggles. I don't mean it like that. It's more just, it's like, it's nice to have something to focus on. At least you can write, at least you can produce content. Like, you have a little bit of an outlet, right? And that's a cool thing about fucking esports, man. Even when you're locked inside, you can still do your shit.
I was like super worried because obviously, like I said, I took this Deserto job, and the day before it was due to start, I'd signed the contract and everything. Because I'm still a little bit kind of flaky with everything. Like, I literally called up my new boss at like 4 a.m. and I was like, listen, I can't do this. I'm not ready to come back to work. Like, I think all my shit's played out. I don't even think the audience want me to do this. Like, this is like a waste of time. Like, I can't cope with the stress. I'm losing my mind. And like, he's just like, just see how you feel in the morning. Yeah. And of course I felt differently in the morning. I was like, yeah, sorry about that, mate. So I'm still, I don't know how to put it. Like, is it highly strung? Is that the word?
Yeah, it's just a little shaky, maybe. You're doing pretty well, but there's a little, there's a little wobble there, and I think that's totally natural and fine. It's a process, right?
Yeah, and like, I don't know, man. It's like, I got a bunch of stuff on my mind, things you can't really talk about, and it's just a weird time. It's just a weird time.
Yeah,
for me, I haven't been in this situation before, and like I say, it's a strange time to be going through anything. It's why generally, I think probably I've come across as less combative, I guess, than usual, because
I think so.
I understand we're all in the shit right now.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I've definitely sensed that you're a very social guy. You like being around people, you like entertaining. That's obviously why you have this fucking job. But on even just a personal level, off stream, I mean, you're a fun guy to get a beer with. And how long are we going to be stuck without any kind of pub culture? Locked in the fucking apartment, drinking alone. That sucks, man. It fucking sucks.
Well, yeah, and I got all my friends are getting old now. Because they went and did the thing that I think I was supposed to do, but, get a family. I chose esports. Don't recommend it, kids.
I say that to Trent sometimes, right? Because he's 4 or 5 years younger than I am, and he has 2 kids now, and he's been married for however fucking long, 4 or 5 years. And I say, man, sometimes I think I'm just like living vicariously through you. I kind of thought that would be my life. He is owning a house. He's already moved once. I'm like, am I going to be renting my whole life at this rate? Like, it's crazy how it gets away from you. I forget how old you are. I'm turning 31 in like 2 weeks. So
Yeah, well, I mean, but a lot of people tell you 30 is the problem, and you get past 30 and you feel no different, so you think you're gonna be the guy that beats the system. It's
oh
it's
no.
it's it's 36.
Oh no.
That's when you go to bed on your as 35, going, Jesus Christ, I'm in great shape. 36, you're fucked. You literally wake up the next day, your back's gone. You probably pissed yourself in the middle of the night. It's horrible. It's like
The
you just
hemorrhoids
feel.
come back. Oh no.
Oh, don't even get me started on that. Mate, your entire body just decides like, listen, it's not you. You don't beat it. You don't beat the system, man. You're fucked. So I'm like, all my friends are married or kids now, or both. Even the ones that are kind of like the edgy ones that I grew up with, that were like, he was an animal. Like me and him used to stay up till 4 a.m. doing fucking coke in but truck stop toilets and stuff. And
Good old days.
he's like, now he's like down the park with his two daughters, or I mean, at worst, they have a dog. They have something, right? Like they've got something going on. And with me, it's just esports. It's like I'm doing the same thing that I was doing 16 years ago. And there's like, I don't know if it's like me, if I'm like, if I'm fucked up in some way and I can't balance stuff out, but it feels like there isn't room for any of that other stuff. Like it really does. Feels like I couldn't do what I do and like have like, a long term. Like I had a relationship going on stateside, but it was on and off, and I don't know. I couldn't commit to that. It was definitely on me.
Well, so maybe it's time to graduate to the next step of the career, though. I mean, you've always talked about the Richard Lewis esports book. Redeye beat you to it, unfortunately, so now you got to deal with that. But maybe this is time to get serious about writing a real fucking book, man. There's a lot of garbage out there in the written esports space. I know.
Yeah, there is. Oh, yeah, because you've done a book too, right? It's good, man. I don't know. I mean, I've thought about that. It's like, I don't know. Is the world ready for like the real esports stuff? I think it's sort of niche still.
I don't know. I don't know. I hear that Amazon and Netflix, and there's a byproduct of the streaming wars, they're gobbling up all sorts of silly esports IP. The true esports stories untold by Richard Lewis could be something that we see on Netflix in the next 5 years. Am I crazy here? I mean, are these ideas out of reach?
I'm going to be in a documentary on Netflix.
I mean, E-League was fucking Turner, So maybe you need to switch gears to pandering to the real entertainment industry a little bit, make a fat stack, and do some, more manageable content that's a little more scalable than this esports journalism shit. I don't know. I'm just spitballing. But...
Yeah, no. It's like I did do a shoot for a Netflix documentary series that's going to be coming out.
That's pretty cool. Is it like a standalone, or it's like a whole? It's
a series.
That's pretty sweet.
It was some Australian production company. I think they came and stayed at my house for a bit in Vegas.
Yeah,
this was last year. But they've been, and I helped connect them with a bunch of people, and. I don't know what that's doing, but I mean, it was like, it was a lot of shooting. It was a lot of shoots. They came and they set up a lighting rig and everything in my office, and it's just me sat in a leather chair talking shit like pretty much my entire career to date.
Oh, so it's on brand then.
Yeah, totally.
Perfect.
But so they asked me a bunch of questions, and like some of it was about Turner, and there was some of the other big stories, the StarCraft match fixing scandal and stuff. I think they want to do a fairly comprehensive history based on the questions that they asked me, but I have no reason where it is. I haven't heard from the producer in months, and not that not that he has to pick up the phone to me or anything, but haven't heard. So I don't know, man. I don't know what's going on there. But in terms of writing a book, I mean, yeah, I'd like to do it. I need a big fat fucking advance though.
I mean, do you think Redeye got an advance for his book? How much do you think he got paid to write that hunk of shit?
I don't know, that hunk of shit. I'm not gonna.
I mean, I shouldn't say that. I only read the first chapter. But...
I'm not gonna co-sign insulting Paul's book. But I'll be honest.
No, I'm joking.
He did send me. He did offer to send me a signed copy. And I never got back to him, and then all the fucking drama with him kicked off, and I haven't spoke to him in a while. So
Yeah, I was never
so-
close with him.
mm.
I always got the vibe that he saw me as a peasant, just sort of one of those lowly, like, he talked to me about Bitcoin once and various other topics that I think he wanted to talk about regardless of who was in the room. I never got the vibe that he was really interested in me or anything I had to say, but that might be my own lens and sort of lack of confidence there, because he commands a room. So that, that's just the way he is. That's not even a knock as much as an observation,
Yeah, I mean, listen, like a lot of us, Paul's an interesting cat, man. He like I don't know how to explain it, but I guess in very simple, basic terms, if none of us had anything wrong with us, all the old pioneers at esports just doesn't exist. Like, you have to have something wrong with you.
I've said that to people before. If you want to be a talent in esports, there's a little part of you that's got to be a little fucked up. You got to be a little crazy for that to fuel you, for that to be your high, to go out there and yell in front of those people and tell that story. It comes with a little piece of baggage for everyone.
But imagine back in his day. This is a guy with a family, right? And what's he doing on his weekends? He's driving a fucking Newbury race course with equipment in the back seat of his car to set up a Shoutcaster plugin to commentate on Counter-Strike in a bar through a handheld microphone while looking at a projection of the game with a delay for free, for no money.
Yeah.
To 20 people.
Yeah.
Like, only someone with serious delusions would do that. And yet, if Paul doesn't have those delusions, me and you aren't sat here talking about how we got to make a living from esports, because it took a bunch of crazy people to push this boulder up the hill. I'm like third generation esports.
Yeah, I started with
when the boulder
StarCraft
was
too.
halfway.
I was pretty privileged. Shit was pretty set up when I came along, I mean, Twitch was budding right as I got into things. So I had it good compared to some of you old dogs.
Yeah, I mean, and so I'm no different. Like, think about me, right? Like, so before I fully committed to esports, I was like a manager at a utility company, the youngest in the entire company structure to attain that like status. I had I managed 60 people. I did sales, right? I had money. I had a real nice, reasonable cocaine habit. You know what I mean? I was in a good spot in life. Get through a few grams a week. Heavy weekend with the boys, money. Put it on the company card, darling, all of that bullshit. I was that wanker. I was that wanker you see at the bar who thinks just because his Christmas bonus has come in, he's Jeff Bezos in a fucking suit from fucking Primark. You know the types. You know the types. I was that type, right? And at 24, I thought I had it all fucking made, But there was something about that life that didn't really like, a part of my brain knew it was not really what I was going to do long term, because it still felt too much like work. Whereas esports, it was the ultimate procrastination exercise. It was the it was perfect for me. I've been a gamer all my life, even though I was never a nerd. I was like a jock with nerd tendencies, I guess would be the best way to describe it. I played sports, I did rugby, I did boxing, then MMA. But the reality was, like, I liked playing video games, and I liked being around people who played video games. I liked smoking weed all day and playing games. I liked that. I liked that. That was good. Yeah. That was a good use of my time, in my opinion. So I was slowly but surely looking over at this thing I had a vague understanding of, and being like, how can I get out of this fake telesales, cocaine, hanging out with wankers nonsense, and make this my entire life? And that's what I did. But I don't think normal people think that way.
You shifted the crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think normal people go, how can I go from having money, drugs, sex, and fun, and move into video games permanently? Like, no one should think like that, right? But I did. And so I think, unfortunately, what you've got is the foundations for esports, for good or ill, were laid by a bunch of people who weren't normal. Like, we're not normal. And Paul definitely is one of those guys. He is an eccentric and unique personality with flaws, but I'm never going to, like...
Would you still call yourself friends with him?
Yeah, fuck yeah. I'm never renouncing Paul. No one's going to make me renounce Paul.
Interesting.
Paul did things to me, by the way. Like, Paul had me on the brink of fucking killing myself at one point in my life.
Really?
But what... Yeah, fuck yeah. He used to be my boss. He was a fucking...
So how do you reconcile that? How do you
not reconcile it?
How do you hold it? How do you look the other way on that? And
because what I came to realize was, all right, I was looking at it from this complete subjective perspective. Look at what Paul is making me feel. Look at how Paul's behavior affects me. This is wrong. This is unfair. If I removed myself from my perspective and actually looked holistically at the picture, what I wasn't looking at was what his bosses were doing to him. How this was a guy who was going through, a sloppy divorce, not knowing if he was going to have access to his kids, not knowing how much it was going to cost him, working an esports job for a company that really undervalued him and overworked him. And his success was contingent on me being competent at my job. And I'll tell you, back then, I weren't Richard Lewis award-winning esports journalist. I was a fucking flake. I was a flake. No joke. I was, sorry, this
Lewis.
Yeah, this news story doesn't get posted today because I've been up drinking cheap cider all night. I had my own problems. I was like fucking up my mate's marriage by sleeping on their spare bed because the land center I worked for went bust and I had no job. And I said, I'm not going back. I'm not going back to sales and cocaine and all of that stuff. I'm staying in esports, even if it's no money. I'm sticking around. So I'm essentially couch surfing at 26, right, or 27 or whatever it was. Redeye's my boss. His entire life is falling down around him, and his success is based on my success. What a nightmare for him.
I see. So you're saying you started to see it more as like a system of abuse and difficult expectations where he's similar as you are a cog in this abusive system, as is he, and just because he's rolling shit down to you doesn't change the fact that you're both caught up in this broken system.
Yeah, like if we could have talked about it, if we weren't such typical... Because we're both from working class communities. We both lived in the Northeast. So the other problem we've got is we can't talk to each other about feelings because we're wrapped up in this machismo bullshit. I can't say to him, Paul, you're really upsetting me when you behave like this, and I feel worthless, and it's not a nice feeling, and it's making me feel like I don't want to live if this is my existence every day. You couldn't say that. What I had to say was like, yeah, fuck off, Paul. You're out of order, you daft cunt. Fuck you. Don't talk. It's conflict. And if Paul could have said to me, like, going, Richard, like, I really need you to pull through for me. Like, I got stuff going on in my life right now. I'm under tremendous pressure and strain. So I'm sorry if the things I'm saying are coming across wrong, and if my management style feels like I'm bullying you. But like, I need you to succeed for me. There's an element of self-interest there. But we couldn't do that.
Right.
We couldn't do that. We couldn't sit down and talk honestly because we're wrapped up in this whole don't never let them see you cry. Don't show your weaknesses. So what you had was two stubborn working class guys in situations where if we could have just opened up and been honest with each other, we would have had a much better relationship and a much better working relationship. But we couldn't bring ourselves to do that because of our quirks and hang-ups. So how do I reconcile it? I reconcile it the same way I reconcile it with anyone that I've had beef with in the past. At the end of the day, he had his reasons for behaving in a way that was like making me feel miserable and sad. And equally, when we got down the road, Paul made up for it in many other ways. Paul was the guy who hired me for my first ever major. When DreamHack had said, you're not good enough to be on air, which is what they told me until Robert Olin made me the StarCraft host guy. The other guys at Grayson and all that didn't think I was good enough, which is why I didn't work any of the CS events early on. But it was Paul who hired me to work my first major in Cologne 2014. And I was hired as an analyst, right? Paul just wanted me on the broadcast because he thought I was an interesting character, you know? And the community hated that because I'm not a player, so anything I say is wrong by definition, right? It's like when it's like when a caster in Dota says they shouldn't have picked that because that's easily counted by this, and everyone goes, he doesn't know what he's talking about. Then a player says the same thing, and suddenly it's like the fucking 10 Commandments, brought down by Moses, right?
Have experienced that for 8 years now.
Yep. I mean, it's happened to me all the time. Like, I'll be backstage with, like, Sean Gares or someone on nothing. Legendary NA players, and they tell me something, and I go, can I use that on the broadcast? And they go, yeah. And as soon as I would say it, the community would tell me I was wrong. So that's just what you're dealing with. But anyway, so what had happened there was my best friend had hung himself the week prior. And I didn't want to say no to doing the event, even though I was in no fit mental state to go and do the event.
Jesus.
I basically flew straight out from the funeral.
Jesus Christ, dude. That's
because it's esports. So
yeah, but that's still insane. Like, I mean, you're right. I've missed funerals. I've been, quote, lucky. I say that, I shouldn't say lucky, but I've had 2 people pass while I was at an event already. And, if you've missed it, you've missed it. And, am I going to fly back? Does that change anything? That's different from what you're describing, where it happened right before. So that prime period when you should be like prepping and getting in the zone and being like, amped up with this energy for this event, you're in the complete opposite world, rightfully so. I couldn't imagine. Damn, that's some impressive compartmentalizing skills, I would say.
Well, I've always been good at that.
Wow.
And that's another reason why a lot of relationships I've been in have kind of fallen, and broke up, because one of the things that, when you're in a relationship with somebody, one of the things they will hate is like if you're emotionally absent. But it's like, but if I need to be, if I need to be, I like, listen, we can do the crying thing tomorrow, but not today. I got shit to do. That's what I can do. But that was a real tough one because, so what had happened was I had just started getting into doing regular CS events, and I was suddenly a tier 1 on-air talent, and my friend, his mother had there was a house fire, and it's like some movie shit. She got trapped. She was like she was like taking medication for a bunch of problems, and she got trapped in the house while the fire was raging on. She couldn't get out, and basically he sort of essentially saw his mother burn to death.
Jesus.
And obviously he couldn't cope with that. And so it was her funeral, and I missed her funeral, which is shocking because, I knew her very well, and we were all good friends. But I missed her funeral for an event. And then the next weekend, he called me up and he said, I'm having trouble. I'm struggling with all of this. I need you to, can we hang out? And I said, yeah, brother, like, I know this is fucked up. It's tough. I can't even imagine. Look, you've got my phone. I'm here 24/7. You can call me. I'll stay up all night talking to you. But I got this event coming up, and I can't get out of it. I have to go and do this, man. Like, and I went and did that event. And while I was at that event, he hung himself. I got a call at 6 a.m. While I was in the hotel from one of our mutual friends telling me that, they'd found him dead. And so, I mean, like, the guilt.
Jesus Christ.
The guilt hits me like a fucking freight
How
train.
The fuck do you process that, man? That's like,
that's because I'm
shit.
absolutely utterly convinced as well. Like, if I'm there with him that weekend instead of at that event, obviously he's still alive. I don't know if he does it later on but he doesn't die then.
Yeah.
And so I've got all that guilt going on, and I get to Cologne because my girlfriend at the time's telling me, like, Richard, why are you going? And I'm going, you don't understand, it's esports. Redeye himself has hired me. Like, I don't want to let him down because we've got our thing going on in the past. I really want to come through for him, and I've just got to go. And she's going, yeah, but like, you're fucked, Rich. Like, you can't be doing this. Like, you're not even sleeping in our bed. You're in the spare room. I can hear you crying. I'm like, listen, I got to go and do this. So it just is what it is. Like, you know, you don't say no to a CS major. Yeah. So I got there, and obviously, like, well, I said I got there. I went to the funeral, flew out from the funeral, and then I'm sat there, and all of I've got Twitch chat on one monitor. And obviously, the community fucking hate me and hate the fact that I'm working this event. I think that, so it's just literally honest in the chat. Kill yourself. You know, like I'm not already thinking about that. You know, and kill yourself. God, who put this guy on? Who put this guy on? And so I just power through. And anyway, I get to the end, and like Paul knew about everything. And Paul gave me a massive hug and said, like, he goes, I don't know how you did it, mate, but not only did you do a good job, like it's like one of the most incredible sort of sacrifices, you know, I think I've seen anyone make. So I'm really, really proud of you, and it meant the world to me. So this is what I mean when I'm talking about when I'm talking about people not being perfect and complexities of the human relationship. You know, like Paul helped me get through that, and had the faith in me that I wouldn't let him down despite everything else that was going on. So,
wow. Yeah, I see what you mean. The complexities of the human condition. Fuck, man, that was some heavy shit.
Yeah, sorry, dude. I mean,
no, don't apologize. I'm like just processing, and like
because I've been to rock bottom. It's like there's no like sense of shame about talking about any of this stuff anymore. You know, just.
Well, I hope it's helpful to say it out loud and process a little bit. I mean, I know some of this.
It might be helpful for other people.
I believe. I mean, do you think things would have been different for Paul if he had made a video statement instead of a written statement? I have asked everyone this question, and you're maybe someone that can give me the answer. Why didn't he just do a video, even if it was just him crying for 5 minutes? I think that would have gone a long way. As someone who had to deal with some, we'll call them PR issues recently, I wanted to write something, and everything I wrote sounded terrible. And a lot of people said you need to do a video because it just comes across more honest. People can see your face, they can see your emotions, they can see the context, they can hear the cadence that you're speaking, all that adds to get people on your side to humanize yourself, and everything you write is going to sound defensive. Did someone not give him that advice? Do you think there's just
here's the problem, that's not an exact science, you know, and I've done PR.
It's not. You're correct. Yeah, it's a risk. I think it's like a high risk, high reward. You're shooting for a small target, and it can backfire. But I guess I'm just curious if you have thoughts on that.
Yeah, I think, so for example, remember when T. Martin did his apology video with the dog over at Call of Duty for running the fucking skin? Like, that went down like a fart in an elevator. So, you know, I don't, it's not an exact science. And I think with Paul, honestly, he was so cut up about it. Because essentially, you know, like, this is a guy who's like Hall of Fame esports material. This is a guy who's worked every major esport and a bunch of little ones that people don't even know about. This is a guy who's been at the forefront of broadcasting excellence in our industry for as long as he's been involved in our industry. A guy who's literally wrote the book on how to be a commentator and put it out for free. A guy who's trained dozens of prospective talent and given them pointers and tips and how to be good, of which I am one. A guy who's held pretty much every position. He was even a team manager in CSS for a brief period of time, if I remember rightly. I think with Team Cooler Master or something. He had some connection over there. He's literally done everything. And it's cost him so much in his personal life because of his dedication to this industry and this craft and his craft. Now, there's no way you can sit down, turn the camera on, and hit the right notes. You know, he's not an actor. I mean, one of the things we're talking about is, if anything, Paul's one of his major faults is his inability to control some of his emotions and marshal his emotions and present something fake. So he was devastated when this went down, and understand as well. I mean, like, I've got like James Banks is an old friend as well. I've known both of these guys as long as I've been in esports. But the timing of what James did, I've said this before, so it's not like a news flash or whatever, and I've said it to James. Like, you wait until all the Me Too stuff's popping off, and then you go after Redeye with this. So first of all, you're detracting from a very serious thing. Second of all, when the morons on Reddit start in a year from now start asking why Redeye's gone, you're gonna see people replying, going, "Oh, he went with all that Me Too stuff."
Yeah,
a family man. Like, that's just an awful thing to do to somebody else.
Do you think he'll ever make a comeback? Like 5 years from now?
I don't look.
10
Listen,
years from now.
assaulting someone is completely unacceptable, assuming it happened, and it's got no place in any professional setting, and there is a price to be paid for that. In this instance, the price to be paid, it seemed, because the person who was the alleged victim didn't deem it worthy enough of calling the police even, it looks like he lost his job at the time essentially over it. How much more do we want to take from somebody years after the fact? It's not like he was going around giving everyone digs. He never gave me a dig, He could be difficult to work with. I don't think that's necessarily the heinous crime a lot of people think it is. I mean, should Steve Jobs, like, do we want to completely eschew what he's done for the tech industry based on the fact that he was a notorious asshole? Sometimes creative types are like that. And it's not to excuse it, and it would be great if they weren't, but sometimes the flaws are the tinder that has to get sparked to fucking fuel the genius.
Yeah.
And if you don't have both, you don't get the good stuff.
Yeah.
So, and I think Paul's one of those. So I think it's a disgrace that he had to slip off into the night like he'd done something unbelievably wrong, completely unforgivable, completely irredeemable. And I'll condemn any bad behavior of his, but I also know firsthand this assault stuff that gets bandied around. It ain't always the whole truth, is it? Because I'm a guy who has been castigated for 5 years for committing a provable legal act of self-defense. So let's not pretend that the esports community has a handle on things. The esports community watch, stuff unfold on screen all the time and infer all sorts of mad stuff from it. Like, you might make a joke to somebody on a broadcast and it lands flat, and there'll be people utterly convinced in their minds that you two don't get along.
Yeah.
Zyori hates capitalists. You can tell. Like, no, you know fuck all about people's relationships, but people will do it. So, yeah, I think Paul got dealt a very bum hand.
So I guess if I can requalify the question to be more specific, it's broken into two pieces. Would he ever want to come back knowing that that's going to be unfairly, or what? It's always going to follow him. In those Reddit threads, it's always going to be there, right? So whether or not he'd ever want to come back to deal with that is a totally different question. Let's say he does. A year from now, he contacts ESL, PGL, DreamHack and says, guys, I want to come back. I want to make a splash. I've gone through some shit. I've been with a therapist. Whatever he has to say, do you think any of those orgs would hire him again to do an event? Is there a degree where that would be a pretty big deal? It would definitely make some headlines. And do you think there's a TO that would want that?
I think they'd be idiots not to. I think at the end of the day, you're talking about someone who is a tier 1 stage host, a tier 1 desk host, a tier 1 interviewer. Like, it makes no sense to me to sort of keep him out in the cold for these alleged crimes, of which, again, notice how I'm saying alleged. Nothing's been proven here. We had some court documents come out, right? A Reddit post made by someone breaking the law by if they were a juror, by discussing details of the case. So that person has committed a crime, assuming it's real, which I take anonymous Reddit posts with a pinch of salt. I don't know how you feel about it.
Yeah, no, I agree. And
someone posting something on a throwaway.
I see it both ways. I try to give it the benefit of the doubt as much as I can, because I do recognize that there are times where people do want to be anonymous because they're afraid for their livelihood, but that doesn't mean the story isn't true. But it is a system that has no real way to verify things. So if there's nothing in the story that gives you any sense that it's real, how you can't pretend it's truth. So I try to go both ways, Rich. I don't like to assume that every anonymous post is completely full of shit. I think that's a little unfair too.
Yeah. So for me, I think everything that happened there was just like, like, so what? Like, if that one guy who came out and said, yeah, it definitely happened, like, felt that, like, if someone punched me, I'll call the police.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to go to HR. Like, if I've been assaulted. So I don't know what happened there. I have no insight. I just heard the rumors like everyone else at the time.
Yeah.
And treated them as what they were, which was rumors.
Yeah.
Like, besides that, what are the other heinous crimes Paul's meant to have committed? He told James Banks that he didn't think he was a very good caster.
Yeah, I according to the Banks stuff, I guess he made some effort to not get people jobs or something. I didn't do the research. I didn't reread the research before this, Rich. I'll be honest. I didn't even plan on talking about Redeye. So you caught me. Yeah. I don't know. I can't remember.
Listen, it's a rhetorical question. The reality is, outside of the allegations of punching somebody, there's nothing else there. I mean, people are referring to this court case that he was involved in, where, by the way, he was found innocent. So, and I've literally, this is how despisable the average Reddit moron actually is. Like, I've seen people go, well, just because he's found innocent, or rather found not guilty, doesn't mean he was innocent. So, I guess we're just throwing our entire legal standard out the window so you can condemn someone you don't like on the internet. That's where we're at, is it? Yeah, and it is, unfortunately. That is where we're at. Basically, what it boils down to is, if you're a fan of Redeye, you think he didn't do it. And if you hate Redeye for whatever reason, you're going to go and say that he did it. But also, there's those weird people in the middle who just want to fan the drama flames so they feel important for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And it's pathetic. The bottom line is, in my opinion, like, I think an apology would have been entirely appropriate. An apology and a contextualization for what he did. And yeah, maybe he even has to sort of say, be it true or be it cynical, I'm spending some time away from the business and I'm going to see a therapist for my anger management issues. And I apologize unreservedly to anyone that I've caused distress to in the time that we've worked together. But I'll just add, do you notice, right, when everyone else was getting got with genuine, disgusting Me Too shit, you notice how other names were coming out of the woodwork?
What do you mean? Like that?
Well, like, it was never
accused of stuff?
It was never just one, was it? Because it turns out if you are a fucking piece of shit predator, you don't just wake up one day, do it once and go, never doing that again.
Right, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, Correct. There was multiple people. Where was the chain of people saying Redeye was a serial bully and abuser? Where was it?
Yeah, I didn't quite see that either. That's true.
Didn't happen, did it?
I mean, it seemed like there were a lot of people that were in this middle ground of like, he never did anything to me, but I've seen him yell at makeup people or various other staff that I've never really met or had to deal with. And he's not the kind of guy whose defense I'm going to come to. Most of the Dota talent that I've worked with, I think, did not really enjoy their time with him on panels. They found him hard to work with. They found him abrasive. And that dynamic was enough where they were like, I don't know any of this shit, so he's not the guy I'm going to fall on my sword for because he never seemed particularly nice to me. So, the silent observer effect, at least in the Dota space, that was what pushed a lot of the Reddit community on the Dota side. I think they saw standard. That.
If that's the standard,
I'm not saying that's fair. I'm just saying that was a thing that triggered a lot of the echo chamber in the Dota space specifically about Redeye.
Sure.
Yeah, but not saying it's good.
There was, for example, I won't name them on the show because then we don't want to get into drama. But pretty sure we know of one or two very high-profile divas that have behaved in ways of the same level that we're talking about here with Paul, if not worse.
Yes, definitely.
So, and those guys get to skate, right? And we all know.
Yeah.
So why are we not outing them for their bullshit?
Because it feels so shallow and contrived. Because I don't want to be the watchdog guy.
Right.
Because I've yelled at people. I've crossed the line before. I've exploded on people that didn't deserve it in some of my bad moments. I've talked about it in my book and various other times. I lost my shit at Slacks at Midas Mode 2 a year ago. I got so mad I lost my words and threw a cup of water at him to get his attention because he wasn't listening to me. I mean, it sounds stupid, but it was in front of 20 other talent that went, what the fuck is wrong with you? immediately
that's
after
asshole
it happened,
behavior as well, brother.
Yeah,
That's really
and immediately
bad,
after it happened, I felt awful. I felt physically sick at my own behavior. But sometimes you get stressed so much and you have too many days of a shit diet and no sleep and shit breaking and not going right and people telling you suck on Reddit and being mean in Twitch chat and all that shit together, and you just lose it on, like you said at the beginning of the show, whoever's fucking in front of you. I fucking love Slacks. He was the guy holding that shit together, but he was the guy that was right there when I snapped. You know? So that's the answer to the question, because to some degree I can empathize a little bit. Not that I want to excuse bad behavior, but I've lost my shit too, man. I can't pretend like I'm perfect. So it seems unfair to drag everyone else through the mud.
Exactly. So the reality is, we understand that in a talent-driven business, in a high-pressure environment where you have to deliver, where you're eating garbage and sleeping 4 hours a night, and working like potentially 12 to 16-hour days every day, in those conditions, yes, some people will snap and act like assholes. And so we accept that, right? And whether we should or not, different debate, different question. But you will find a lot of fan favorites. Like I say, I front load my asshole. Like I'm actually a legend at events. Like I'm the guy that'll drag other people through the trenches. Like, we can do this. Come on, let's get over the hill. It's fine. Listen, stop shouting. It's gonna be all right. I understand you're frustrated, but we can do this. Come on, I believe in you. Let's go. Like I'm that guy, right? But on social media and all that, like I'll just fucking light you up. I don't give a fuck. But yeah, the reality is, like, we let it slide. And so all I'm saying is, I can name you half a dozen names, literally off the top of my head right now, of people I've seen do things equal to or worse than anything Redeye ever did, and so, 3 of them work in Dota. So, you know, why are those guys? Why are those guys getting a pass, and why are we essentially giving it to them when Redeye's sat at home right now wondering where his legacy went?
Like that's the unfair hand that he was dealt, that his crimes aren't more egregious. They were just more personal to someone who is willing to go public with it. And the rest of us are like, I don't have a personal beef with, you being if I witness you yelling at somebody else, I'm not going to go on Twitter and be like, I just saw Richard yell at Capitalist and Capitalist cried. That's like, it's not my story to tell. That's
if I can make Capitalist cry,
or whatever. Insert whatever names you want. It's sort of
now lyrical for sure.
Oh, poor Gabe.
Nah, he's a legend. He's a sweetheart as well. I love him too.
Well, shit, mate, that got fucking heavy. He is a sweetheart. Gabe is lyricals. He's had so many unique life experiences. He's so wise beyond his years. He's become my resource when I need.
One of the guys I wish I could sort of spend more time with, because it's like there's just ain't enough hours in the day, and he's a dude that's like super interesting to talk to. I had a great time hanging out with him on the events we did together. Him and Capitalist, but I kept in touch with Capitalist. Kind of on and off, and I didn't do it so much with lyrical, I guess, because I don't know. It's like maybe a little bit intimidated by his worldly wisdom, but he's such a nice dude, just a great guy.
To circle back though, before we went down, thank you for sharing all that. By the way, I didn't even really plan on going down that rabbit hole, but I'm glad that we kind of naturally went down that route. That was some good perspective, I think. Lots to chew on. I don't now. I don't know where I stand, Richard. Fucking hell, you're making me think, and I hate that, buddy. I secretly love it.
Everyone does. Everyone hates it. It hurts, right?
But in terms of future plans, have you ever put any stock into this like college university shit with esports? Is there any way to make the esports university world cross over in a way that isn't a waste of time and money for students? Have you ever thought of even like guest lecturing, any shit like that? Is that
I do that. It's just one of those things that I don't really talk about. But I've done a number of lectures at universities, and I got a friend that I used to work with at E-League, Christina Alejandre, that teaches a course in esports, and she has me in every semester to do a guest appearance and answer questions from students, and I like that stuff. I think unfortunately, universities have changed. I was there at the start of the change, when it went from being you went to university essentially for free to now you're a paying customer, and they'll allow you to study any old shit as long as you're willing to give them tens of thousands of dollars to go and learn about that shit.
Yeah.
So it's a tough one. because I've seen some terrible courses, but I have absolute faith in, like, say, Christina's. I talk to the students there. They're all very interested and engaged. Some of them are doing like esports in addition to like a business degree, with the view to creating a business within esports, which I think is great because we need young people coming through and, new ideas to help drive our space forward. So that's exciting. It's nice to be a part of that. But equally as well, I saw some courses in the UK where it's like, they forbid students from saying anything bad about the course on social media. And
oh, God.
and I got sent like one of the PowerPoint presentations a lecturer did, and it's just full of like provable garbage, like absolute lies. And it's like easily verifiable stuff. And it's like, you fill in these, and like the people that are teaching these courses never been anywhere near esports, like they.
Well, so that's the problem. There's this weird.
They say, "Oh, I had Nintendo in the '80s." It's like it's not the fucking same. Like.
Yeah, and I think there are probably some. I'm a little more familiar with the American universities, though. I know a few that are in the UK that are trying to hop aboard the esports bandwagon. And I'm in the camp of, I think the best scenario would be a more traditional like bachelor's degree that has an esports concentration. Like I got a bachelor's in entrepreneurship. It's basically just a small business degree with a few innovation and solopreneur type classes mixed in. But it was mostly a regular degree. And most of the industry professionals I've talked to have said, yeah, we want people with real skills and specialization. Having a 3-year degree from some esports specific program where you're taking mostly made up classes like esports broadcasting, I don't know what the fuck that is. As far as I'm concerned, esports is just another extension of regular broadcasting. It's got a lot of the same principles.
Yeah, that's definitely another thing. Like people don't understand, I think, that while esports is a niche, there's only certain areas that need to be esports specific. Whereas, like, what I would rather people were doing was, for example, I'd rather people were studying broadcast journalism and then coming to esports and learning about that organically by listening to people, because I'd rather that they took the transferable talent that we can utilize and they can learn retroactively about the history and the game and anything else they need to know about. I think getting too hung up on the details of esports can be problematic in some ways. But equally, what I hate is the people that talk about like esports as an authority, and and they have conflated it with gaming. They have they get things wrong. They think they know like the lay of the land when it comes to business. It's like there's a reason that all these VC groups are coming in and then losing money and then scratching their heads. They don't understand. Like I can tell you all of this stuff. I've done consultancy work as well. A lot of these people they see that Newzoo report and they have like a super unwritten, literally that is the bane of modern esports existence.
It really is. It's in every bullshit propaganda deck I've ever seen. Every bullshit article, it's always, there's that Newzoo plug. And I feel bad because Newzoo actually does good work, but they have enabled this. They've made it too accessible almost. It sucks to gatekeep stuff, but I digress.
Yeah. No. It doesn't. It doesn't. I mean, like, listen. I'm not. I'm going to say something probably mad controversial. Probably no more controversial than anything else I've ever said. I'm already getting the takeaways from this in my brain. So he's defending Redeye, lying about Loda, insulting Hellspawn. I've already got it all laid out.
All right, you checked all three. There you go.
Yeah. So let's do the other one. I think gatekeeping's a good thing.
Really?
I think by and large, yeah.
So there's a balance there for sure, though. Yeah.
Yeah, like you need new people to come in, but you need new people to come in who have good faith. Like one of the examples I always give is like when you learn about history, is that when the conquistadors went to South America and the Aztec tribes, the tribal people, saw these massive boats and people in metallic shiny suits, they thought the gods had finally turned up. And so they took down fruit and gifts to offer them to the conquistadors. And so what they did was they cut off their hands and sent them back up the hill to tell them we're coming to kill you all. They probably should have been doing some gatekeeping, because not everyone that washes up on your shores has good faith. And I've seen it with esports and gaming to a profound degree, that there are people here to destroy what we've built because they are utterly convinced that the people who built it are bad on some level. And I think that's complete bullshit. And I like what esports has become down the years. And I think it gets better with each passing year. And I think the Me Too movement that just went through like a bushfire is absolute proof of that. I don't think we need external people, grifters, trying to make money who know nothing about the lay of the land, nothing about its history, nothing about the unique cultural aspects of it. I don't think we need those guys to come in and sell us a solution to a problem they've invented. It is a grift. And I've called this out many times. I think gatekeeping is important. If you can identify who is a bad faith actor, you should not let them pass the front door.
So I guess you can't see my face, but I'm making this face because the wheels are turning, and I think you're making some good points, and I think I might have incidentally contributed to the gatekeeping, because with Moonduck, we've had multiple... the few times where we wanted to try to get investors to really scale operations, whatever, right? And every time we've gone into negotiations with VCs, there's only been 2 where we went past like an initial meeting. And every time they said a lot of the right things, but at the end, they either made us an insultingly low offer, like, yeah, we'll wipe out your debt and give you $100,000. Like, what? Or one that said, we can't really place your IP, so we think Midas Mode's worth 0. Like, I don't know what it's worth, but it ain't 0, mate. They weren't really acting in good faith. And both of those VCs went through various esports iterations and existed and went bust in the lifetime that Moonduck is still operating. And I've sort of joked in my head about if I ever wrote another book, the last chapter would be the victory of avoiding VC money and owning your own shit and not being beholden to someone else's bullshit growth metrics, or, hey, we have to do this, we have to do X amount of events, we have to hit these targets. We get to work on the shit we want to work on, and that's why the stuff that we do, whether it's good or bad, it's real, it's organic. We're doing it because we believe in it, we want to have a good time, and it's something we've created. And that is sort of a form of gatekeeping. The way you just described it, that, like, I'm glad I had the good sense to smell fish in the water when those guys came pretending like they were going to waive the checkbook. If they had added a 0 to one of those offers, I might have considered it.
You see, what they do is, in the games press in particular, what they do is when they talk about gatekeeping, they make gatekeeping sound like, oh, it's something we do to keep women out of a male-dominated space, or people of color out of a white-dominated space. And I've been in esports for 2 decades. I've seen an increase in diversity across the board. I've seen games that even are now being designed with that in mind. A lot of my friends, I've talked about this before, were like Miss Harvey, the Counter-Strike professional who spent some time at Ubisoft Montreal. And she's talked a lot about how, like, having a female perspective can even influence design choices on games, which I think is super interesting. And I've looked at all the progress that we've made, and yet I still see people outside telling us that, like, oh, esports is the worst environment ever. You remember when all the games journalists clambered over themselves to talk about how sexist the Overwatch community was because they called out a female player that didn't even exist.
Oh,
the
I
whole
remember
Ellie
that
Gate debacle.
I remember
it's
that
so
one.
embarrassing. And that's
That
why
was
it's like,
bad.
listen, yeah, it's like, if you guys can't even do a cursory fact check to see if someone fucking exists, I don't want you anywhere near my shit. Because all of the sacrifices that I've been talking about, the lost marriages, the broken families, the time, the mental health, the stress, the money, the debt, I don't want you coming in and telling me that these people, the pioneers of our industry, are bad people and that they shouldn't be allowed to have a place in the industry in the way that you would redesign it from the ground up. Nah, it's like, you're welcome, but that you can't come in with destruction in mind. I cannot allow that. There's too much at stake. So I think when people talk about gatekeeping, they sell a very false image of what gatekeeping can be. And obviously, if you are gatekeeping women out of your game or people of color out of your space, like, obviously you're a piece of shit. I mean, that's neither here nor there. I don't see anyone doing that. Right? Not where I'm positioned in esports, and I don't think I ever have, if I'm thinking about it. I see the occasional incel comment on Reddit about, well, why do women have their own leagues, or whatever, right?
Right.
And it's like, well, they're not important. So who cares? Like that isn't even a problem that needs a
That's
solution.
That's one of the things that I've told like up and coming casters a lot when they get hung up on what other up and coming casters are saying. I'm like, listen, only care about the people that are hiring you for events. Those are the opinions you need to be really worried about. Fuck the chatter, you know. Don't buy into the noise. That's all a distraction from the real prize here. The real prize is in improving your craft and proving to people that you can show up and perform time and time again. That's the real key to this. That the noise and the chatter, all of that dialogue will come if you do the foundational stuff right. I think
the worst thing as well is, like, you know, when I got that Esports Award last year and gave that speech about Polygon and Kotaku, I mean, you know, and obviously that put me in the crosshairs for a lot of the gaming press. But the reality
were you high on adrenaline during that, or were you shitting your pants during that? Because I would have been shitting my pants. I watched that shit and was like, wow, he's really going in front of all these people.
I basically, so I didn't even know I was going to win. So I wasn't they told me, like, you're up next, you've won the award. They whispered in my ear. And I was like, what?
Whoa.
Yeah. So I hadn't even prepared a speech.
Really?
So but I knew I wanted to say some stuff, and I had two things on my mind that day. And it was China. And I was going to get up and say, like, you know, esports has a China addiction, and we need to extricate ourselves because, you know, of the plight of the Uyghur Muslims, oppression in Hong Kong, you know, all of that stuff. And then I thought, probably too big a battle to fight at the Esports Awards. But here's what I can do and can say, and it's a matter of importance as I see it. You know, it came at a time when there've been so many hit pieces done on streamers, so many, and a lot of them false. So many, like the Ellie thing I just told you about, and there's a reason. Like, these guys, these journalists, and I have to use that term loosely. I don't think people realize the mechanics of it all. So what they do is they sit on a Slack group or a Discord, even though they all work for rival publications, and therefore there should be a competitive element to what they do. They decide as a group to write the same story about the same thing at the same time because they believe it's important to present themselves as a unified front. They're like a cartel. I mean, I almost want to say a cabal because you don't know who these people are, really. You vaguely know the name. And what they're interested in doing is they want to tear down people that occupy spaces they believe they can promote their friends into. So why does Dr. Disrespect get to be a streamer? Asks Nathan Grayson 3 times a week. Why does he get the money and the fame and the status when I know this streamer over there that does a wonderful stream about feminist discourse in video games, and for some reason she's not as big or as popular as Dr. Disrespect? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to dedicate my time, my life, and use my platform to tear him down and then simultaneously, even though I'm going to not disclose a relationship that I have with this individual, and Nathan Grayson is an example, is patient zero for that. He's someone who's had sex with people he's wrote stories about. I mean, the guy's a joke. But anyway, he will then use his platform to promote that person, and they pretend that's just normal reporting, journalism functioning as it's intended. It's like, no,
it's called manipulation.
You're abusing your platform doing this. But and they are interested in gatekeeping. They are interested in saying who can be famous, who can have jobs. Who gets to be promoted in the press, and I find that really repulsive and repellent for all of the reasons I just talked about. They're not doing it in good faith, and these people, you know, they used to write derisory articles about esports in 2012. Same names, same people. Lol, people watching other people play video games. Now that it's the big thing. Now that it's the big thing, they all want in because their medium is dying, and that death cannot come soon enough. If I could turn off, I'm a journalist myself, I have nothing in common with those people. I am not interested in sitting in a Slack with other journalists from other publications saying, hey, if we all write the same story on the same day, we'll really get this guy. We'll really show him. Like, I don't want to live like that. That's not what journalism's for. And what makes me sick is, while they're writing about how Ninja's a bad dude because of one quote he said, where a journalist collared him at a private party as he was coming out of a toilet and asked why he didn't play with women more, and mad shit behavior like this, right? They're pushing stories like that. And what was it? Any of them? Did they get the Me Too's? Did they
Nope.
get any of the Predators? It wasn't Polygon that got the Predators, was it? It wasn't Kotaku that got the Predators. It wasn't Vice, Waypoint. It wasn't any of these people, was it? It took the bravery of the victims coming out on social media to do it. Not one of them investigated. Not one of them helped. That, you know, like it. While you pursue your petty grievances, you are allowing genuine monsters to run amok. So you're committing a double crime, in my opinion. That's why when I got up there, I knew I was shaking. I'm not going to lie, and I couldn't tell you if I was shitting my pants or if it was adrenaline or both. When you get to my age, you never really know. But you know, and I felt bad for Mitch being up there because he's Overwatch, and I knew that he was going to be in the pictures, and that's why I hugged him before and said like, "Can you just hold this?" And you know, yeah. But anyway. You know, it was something that I felt needed to be said because I'm sick and tired of like Ninja saying something stupid should not be a front page story. Somebody getting away with habitually preying on vulnerable women at esports events for years should be the kind of thing that, especially when people are whispering about it. Where are the journalists? Why aren't you digging into that? They never do. They go after people like me for having opinions, but they don't go after predators for doing unspeakable, heinous crimes. And that's where I think journalism's really gone awry. It really has. So yeah, that was why I did that. Yeah. I just felt it needed to be said.
That's insane, though, that was maybe not unprompted, but you didn't have like a speech or that was all just off the cuff. That was
pretty much
that was
all
raw.
Off the cuff.
Richard
I literally scribbled down a bunch of stuff on that sheet of paper, and that's why I had to get Mitch to hold it because it was all over the place. Like he'll tell you if he was here. It was like it didn't.
Was
look like
was there a little liquid courage involved there that led up to that moment?
I wasn't drinking then, actually.
Really?
I think, because, so I it probably would have helped if I had a drink. Because, there were so many people there, and it was like, I was meeting people and then seeing old friends, and we just had the meal, and then it was like, we went straight into the awards, and then, like, literally somebody just said, like I say, I was, like, sat there talking to Scoots, talking to Henry, and Thorin was there, so I think I'd had like maybe half a glass of wine, and then they came over and said, "Yeah, you're getting the award." Like just a guy in my ear, you've won, congratulations, you're getting up and you do. I was like, what the fuck? Like last time I won, you told me like on the day, like so I knew I prepared and I had a much better speech for that one. But
you know, I think I don't want to speak for other Dota talent, but it is weird that Dota gets left out of the Esports Awards every year, and I understand why. I've read some of the vitriol, and I can definitely verify that Dota talent thought it was stupid and a joke and not worth putting any effort into when it was first announced. And it might have been a mistake. I don't know. It seems like a pretty fun time. All these esports people in the same place talking esports.
I'm on the board, right? I'm on the board, so I'll tell you what it is. Like all award ceremonies, it's a glorified fucking popularity contest, right? It's a fucking circle jerk. We all go there and we all suck each other off and say how great we are, right? But here's the thing: it's organic. We're doing it. It's not that Jeff Keighley or whatever his fucking name is, where it's like, you know, who's the most woke person in esports, and let's just give them an award, regardless of excellence and achievement. It is a board of people endemic to esports deciding who deserves to go into an esports Hall of Fame, who deserves an award, who was the best players. It's our thing. So the only people who should be dictating who gets awards and recognition in esports are people from esports, not fucking games journalists who like, oh, do I have to write about this shit today, do I?
Yeah.
You know, I really wanted to promote my friend's walking simulator they just released, but I guess if I have to pretend to like esports for 5 minutes, let's do that. So I think it's super important for that sense. But yeah, of course it's a circle jerk. You know, it is what it is. And it's like, there's probably been some awards that, all told, like the Oscars, you know, like what was it? Didn't Martin Scorsese? What was it he got the award for?
I don't know. I don't really.
He didn't
watch
get it
that
for
shit.
Yeah, he didn't get it for good. He got. I don't know. He got it for something shit. It might. It can't have been.
I know Bong Joon-ho got
Gangs in New York
best picture or whatever this last time.
Oh yeah. I mean, that's actually deserved. Parasite's sick.
Hell yeah.
But like, you know, anyway, the Academy sometimes, you know, like, okay, there you go. The year Pulp Fiction came out, Forrest Gump got Best Picture, you know, and then so you have to kind of like atone for stuff down the line because you get caught up in a fad or something like that. So there you go. Yeah.
He got snubbed on The Departed. Okay.
Yeah. It's
Okay.
like you just have to, sometimes there've been awards at these esports things where even I'm looking going, really? And remember, I'm on the voting board.
How big is the board?
Oh, it's a lot of people though.
Oh, okay. It's like, yeah, not just
all different levels, all different backgrounds.
So is it over for Dota? Is Dota dead to the Esports Awards? Is there ever
Not
a redemption arc? How do we get back on the docket, Rich?
TI's always up there for event of the year.
Well, can we get a category for best Dota caster, or is that not how it works? Is it not?
Well, so you would go into caster of the year. I'm sure there was a guy from Dota on there.
I mean, it's possible. I don't know, but I remember Casey Atchinson was put on the list one year for best caster or some sort of talent.
Yeah, now this is something I think we're changing moving
and
forward.
I remember Slacks tweeting sarcastically about it, and Duncan getting a little testy about, if any of you responded to my bullshit, then I've already written off all the Dota talent. I remember reading that tweet and thinking, all right, Dota is dead in the eyes of the Esports Awards.
No, I mean, that's just one guy and one guy's opinion. I mean, I'm pretty sure, like, if I looked at it, like, what you have to remember as well is, like, the problem with that is caster refers to all on-air broadcast talent.
Okay.
And so hosts get in there,
It's a little goofy.
Yeah, exactly. So I think we changed it. But yeah, like, I mean, shit, like, I've said this many times. The Dota talent pool is one of the best talent pools in all of esports. Like, the guys you've got are just insane.
All right, well, I'm hitting you up for tickets for the next Esports Awards, mate. That's
I don't know
where
it is.
Expect that.
I think it's in Arlington, Texas.
Well, I'm definitely going if it's stateside. Let's do it.
Yeah, so, but I mean, like, you think about guys like, I don't know, OD Pixely. I'm pretty sure he's been nominated, surely, right?
Probably, I would hope. I don't know. Do you have to accept the nomination?
No.
Oh, so all right. I don't know. I guess I haven't looked into the nitty gritty of it, but
yeah,
I know that there's
been. I should know. But
there's been a lack of Dota representation. I think that's fair to say, and that might be because the talent have not been interested in dealing with it or promoting it at all, and that's fine. But the end result has been not much Dota with the Esports Awards.
Yeah. So yeah, it's. I mean, like, you guys have, like, phenomenal talent. The only thing you guys lack, and Kyle is fulfilling that role excellently at the moment. The only thing you guys have really lacked, and I still think you need more of it, is just like a fucking edgy bad guy. Like, every sports has it. Like, I don't know why Dota is so sanctimonious and puritanical about. Like, you just need a guy who's just going to come in and sit there and go, they fucked up, they made a mistake, they shouldn't have drafted this, it didn't work. Oh. But instead, what people talk about on the analysis desk is they go, yeah, and it was just a great counter strategy. They talk about what the other team did.
Our players are sensitive, Richard. You got to butter them up so they give you a little bit in the interviews, or else they snub you.
I remember, right? So let me tell you, let me compare and contrast. This is why people like CSGO, because it's rock and roll compared to the shit you guys do.
What genre are we?
Right. Well, I don't even know. It's like watching a Magic the Gathering tournament or something. Like, you guys have got to step it the fuck up. Because, like, okay, let me tell you about this. When we did E-League, season 1 of E-League, right? Duncan's visa was taking a while to get processed. So they came to me because I sort of corralled the first talent pool for season 1. And they basically said, like, we need somebody who's a big personality, gonna be, fill that Duncan role of saying crazy shit. And I said, you know what? I know a guy called Mo, and he's like a former pro. He's never done broadcast before, but I think he'll kill it because I know him as a personality. And they all said to me, going, like, Richard, you're out your mind. He's never been on air before. He's never done a broadcast before. I'm telling you, he'll be good. He'll be good. So we brought. I said, listen, if it goes badly, put it all on me, right? But I know he'll kill it. So we brought him in, and Mo is just a funny guy. Like, he's just a funny dude. A lot of people think he's a piece of shit because, he's been involved in a few, like, gambling site scams, whatever. But I've known Mo since 2006. So, at the end of the day, like, he's my boy. He might very well be all the things you say he is, but loyalty is an important quality to me. So you'd have to do something a lot more heinous than the things he's done to get me to ever, like, denounce him. So anyway, Mo's on air. And he's fucking killing it. I mean, witty one-liners, burns. And anyway, Team Liquid have just signed for an unbelievable record amount the best talent in NA at the time, a young player called Kusta. And he was in a team, Enemy, and then they became Selfless, and then they sold him to Team Liquid. Huge transfer fee, and everyone thought this kid was going to absolutely kill it. But he wasn't killing it. He'd been terrible in Team Liquid, and he was having a real tough time here. And there was this bit where Kusta is taking off his headset, having lost the game at Team Liquid, and Moore is on air, on the broadcast, on American TV, and in the studio, going, yeah, well, Kusta, who, by the way, is like a 19-year-old boy or something, he's going, yeah, Kusta absolutely lost that series. He's meant to be a star player. He's meant to be carrying his team. He's come with this big transfer fee, and he's embarrassed himself here. And he's absolutely wrecking him. And you can see the camera immediately goes to Kusta's face. There's a zoom in. You can see Kusta's just like putting his things away in his rucksack. Like, oh no. And great television. And everybody just sucked that the fuck up. Everyone just sucks that up in Counter-Strike because it's sports.
Yeah.
It's sports. In Dota, the idea that you're going to protect the player's feelings if they make a mistake, grow the fuck up. It's time for the grow up gas, guys.
You've
got to inhale deeply from the grow up gas. Like, if we're talking about how do you make high stakes really resonate with an audience if you cannot call out a savage mistake that costs them an entire series on it?
Okay.
Which, by the way, in Dota at that level, one mistake can be absolutely critical.
Yes.
And I think if a player makes that mistake and they lose a game, as an analyst, you should be going, he completely fucked up. It's all on him, and you should sell that narrative. Because if you try and say the other team did something right when it's abundantly obvious it was a mistake, the audience know you're lying to them.
Okay. How do you feel about booing in like the home and away when we had the beginning of Call of Duty? What's your take on booing away teams in a venue?
I think absolutely.
It's just sports. Just buck
yes.
up and deal with it.
I think, okay, so what booing, like, so let's say if a player is doing an interview and trying to communicate something, maybe be quiet and listen. But I mean, again, I'm in the UFC. If you've
Let's
ever
say
seen
announcing teams, the coming out. You know, we've got the home team, the Minnesota Rocker. Everybody goes crazy.
Absolutely fine with it.
We've got boo them as they come out.
Absolutely.
Fuck them, get in their heads. That's the whole point of homestands. Is that
kind
of the...
I saw people complaining about this in the last Dota event. One of the last Dota events, anyway, the one that was in China. And people were going, why aren't the Chinese teams showing respect to the non-Chinese teams? Or something like that.
Yeah, okay.
And it's like, why the fuck should they? Who do you think they're rooting for deep down? You know, this idea, the idea that you should applaud a good play by the team as they smash your team. It's like, it's not real life. Like, it happens very rarely. Like, if you want examples of it, it has to be something special. Like, you know, for example, when Real Madrid fans gave Ronaldinho a standing ovation for scoring like 4 goals against them, all of them brilliant and absolutely destroying their team, because they wanted to say that we can acknowledge true talent and amazing football when we see it, you know. But it's so rare. It's so rare that it shouldn't be the norm at all. Like, trust me, when the Raiders lose or when Newcastle lose in football, I go fucking. I'm not going up. Jolly good show. Well done, Brighton. Like, no, I'm fucking angry. Like,
I mean, that's the hype, though. That's the emotional connection you have. That's what makes watching it worth a damn, is that emotional connection to the team.
Exactly.
It's not just another brand where you're watching these faceless players compete. You could watch pubs like that all day. This is the rivalry between Alliance and Na'Vi. This is El Clasico. These are the teams that have the beef, that have gone the stretch multiple times. You know, this is... I agree with you. I think there's sort of a balance there, and I don't know how to reconcile. Like, in general, I do think we should try to be more positive when given the choice. However, that's weirdly idealistic, and it bugs me when people have that. Why can't we all just get along? Fucking no, man. Fucking no. That's not how we got here. That's not how evolution works, with everybody getting along. So, you know, we're working with new software on old hardware, and that's a constant struggle for us as we continue.
I'm all about showing respect at the end, you know, if it's been a good game, or, you know, if you want to give a show of appreciation for your opponents, but you're not obligated to. And not by any stretch of the imagination. And remember, we're only talking about like LAN environments. So I saw somebody in the chat just there saying, You can't really compare it because it's not a home and away team, but there's always a fan favorite. There is always a bigger amount of fans for one team in a stadium at any time. You know, and sometimes it can spill over in unsavory ways. In CS, we have fans like call out where people are as players move their crosshair around. And that might happen in Dota, I think, with dewarding and stuff, like when people were moving over wards, or that might have been League. But the bottom line is, like, in general, I think if you can get into your opponent's heads by booing them and putting them off kilter, fucking have at it, man. Like, it's sports at the end of the day, and
it's an outlet.
I'm not. Yeah, I'm not about this. Let's all hold hands and sing "Kumbaya." It's a competitive pursuit, and at the end of the day, like, fans want to play their part, and you play a part by intimidating your opponents.
Yeah. Okay. Well, so at risk of going too long here, since we've been going for over 2 hours,
like I told you at the start, I've got nothing else going on. I mean, so
well,
gotta go watch the debates, I guess.
I mean, I have to film some shit tonight, so I'm gonna catch the debates when I get home. But I am very excited about that. I don't want to waste our time with American politics, though. It's not worth talking about.
Spare me.
I know how you feel about OWL, so I want to give you this opportunity to make a bold prediction. Maybe you've done this already. How and when do you think OWL will actually end? What is the catalyst that will push it into the ground? Will it be bought out? Will it be thrown under the bus? Will it be like the release of a new game? And what is the actual timeline? How long until you think Blizzard gives it the heart of the storm treatment?
Right. So as I told people months ago, and I think it just came out today in the Washington Post, basically the owners were already saying to Activision Blizzard, we will think about selling our Overwatch League franchises if you don't let us defer our payments. You've got to do something financially to help us out. Wow. Because all of them are in the red. They're all pouring money into a fucking empty pit. And what was meant to save them and give them a revenue stream was the homestands. Live events, people coming through turnstiles. That's the whole business model.
Right.
Whap, whap. Have you heard of my Lord and Savior, COVID-19? You know, it's fucking, it's wrecked everything for Overwatch League. Yeah. And I do feel sorry for them. But they clearly have a much more fundamental problem, because at a time when all online esports viewership is shooting up, Overwatch League is shooting down. I did a stream about it, analyzing the numbers. It's down something like 200% on the same time last year.
Yeah.
And, they've moved to YouTube and stuff. So you're not going to sell it on the online stuff alone. It had to have homestands. And unfortunately, here's what people don't seem to realize. The orgs, the franchises, are eating the cost of those stadiums. Not only are they eating the cost of having to hire those stadiums, which they cannot use, right? Because they've already pre-booked them, right? They already were told that because of the way the homestand works, you have to have a production studio built and ready at each of the venues. Yeah. Because wherever the event is happening, Blizzard have to move their production team into it and put the casters in there and the hosts and all of that stuff.
What a
right?
disaster.
So they've paid all of that money for nout. Like, they've got absolutely nothing. So what happened at that point was they said, listen, with COVID-19 reckoners so bad, we need something back from you guys. And the first thing Activision Blizzard did was instruct them to go and get those, the PPP loans or whatever that the businesses can get for COVID.
Yes, the free money.
So imagine this, by the way, and you can tell, I'm not saying whether I object to it or not. I think the system's bust, but that's just me. And we do stray perilously close to politics. But, that was a fund that was meant to bail out small businesses that couldn't afford to pay people their wages and salaries. And now you've got these multi-million-dollar esports VC franchises dipping into the PPP loans after being instructed by Activision Blizzard. That's a way you can limit your financial burden, let's say.
No.
Then that's done. That's a drop in a fucking bucket, mate. So now what do they need to do? Well, now they've said, listen, all these payments that are coming in, these additional franchise payments that they put over, the 5-year plan or whatever it is, they've now told them, okay, you can defer making the payments. So the economic machinery is already starting to break down around this league. The revenue stream is over for the foreseeable future. The payments from the franchisees are no longer going to the league, and basically viewership's massively down, and they're making less on selling the rights to YouTube than they did with a ridiculous sweetheart deal they got with Twitch because of personal handshakes and threatening to remove all of their games from the Twitch platform and moving them across to MLG TV in one of the maddest, most unlikely flexes of all time. So you combine all of that.
My God.
Everyone in the industry behind the scene knows that they're so reliant on Overwatch 2. I talk to Blizzard people pretty regular. That's why I'm able to leak all the stuff I do. And let me just tell you, the executives are like, let's try and spend as little money as possible on the product we've got now. And when Overwatch 2 comes out, we get a big cash injection and a new, shinier game. And we'll get all of the promotional materials in the games press again. And we'll have like a single player. So money will be coming in, and it's going to fix everything.
So they're going to do the Call of Duty strategy for Overwatch. Essentially, they're just going to re-release this new polished. I mean, it's not even a new game. It's not a new engine or anything, is it? It's the same fucking game, just with a campaign. No.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a new engine because it is backwards compatible. Like you don't. This is the other thing. They're not even being cynical about it, which is dumb. Because they're trying to keep the player base as big as possible because they have an esports product. So it's backwards compatible with Overwatch 1.
Right.
It just looks better, and you have a single player campaign if you buy Overwatch 2. Basically, what you used to get in video games for $60, a single player campaign, they're releasing that as a separate and calling it a separate game, essentially. So it's a joke.
That's unbelievable to me that they think that.
But I don't even understand why they think it's going to save their esports product. I don't see how it's going to. Meanwhile, by the way, the CDL is doing pretty well.
Yes.
It's actually above expectations to Call of Duty League. And if you talk to all of those people, they're going, I wish we'd just gone in on Call of Duty.
Yes.
If you talk to the owners of the franchises, they're going, our Call of Duty League is doing the Call of Duty franchise is doing so much better than our Overwatch franchise.
They've done some things differently, but fundamentally, Call of Duty has a longer history, a much longer history than Overwatch, and the game's just a lot easier to watch. Those two factors alone are a big deal, and I still think watchability has been the fundamental problem with Overwatch from the very fucking beginning. They've made a lot of mistakes in how they built out this infrastructure, but the game is still a cluster to try to visualize what the fuck's going on. And MOBAs suffer from that a lot. Obviously, you Counter-Strike guys benefit from the opposite effect, that it's pretty easy. Yep. Shoot face, blow up.
Yep.
You got it, mate. I don't know. I don't know how you fix that with Overwatch 2. It's just caked into the game.
Yeah, I mean, this is the fundamental problem. Like, Overwatch was never going to... Like, when they made Overwatch the flagship esports product, that's where they completely fucked up. They did it based on hubris, not common sense. They even ignored pretty much there was people like, he's no longer at the company, so I can say this now. Mike Morhaime, I think, famously said, it's not esports ready, Overwatch, and I don't know if it ever will be. And as a result of that, he got fucking essentially sidelined. Like, how dare you speak out of turn? I mean, that's what Blizzard is now.
God, how dare you call it accurately?
Yeah, so basically, Activision was the tumor that metastasized onto the side of Blizzard. No one dealt with it, and now the tumor is actually bigger than the host, and that's just what you're dealing with. So I don't know what to say. I mean, they've done all right with the CDL. It's punched above expectations, and it's actually, I'm not going to say it makes money, but it's marketable, and they had record viewership. Their finals, most ever watched Call of Duty esports event of all time. So,
well, there you go. That's a good sign.
Yeah, whereas, of course, everything else for Overwatch is on a downward trend at a time when people are watching more esports because we're all stuck indoors.
So factoring the COVID element here, how does OWL actually end? Do you think they'll just pull the plug overnight? Do you think they are just going to keep it afloat until Overwatch 2 and rush it out? And then, how does OWL cross over with Overwatch 2? What is the actual end? Or do you think they're going to keep this bitch on life support for years to come?
They went in with a 5-year plan.
Okay.
Their plan at year 3 is completely derailed and way behind where it should be. Not entirely all their fault. Don't get me wrong, there's a hefty share of incompetence and stupidity there because it's esports, so no esports story would be complete without those two characters coming to the party. But the reality is that the COVID thing has really hit them hard. And I think basically they're going to take the cash grab with the Overwatch League, Overwatch 2, play another season of the Overwatch League, see how the homestands pan out. By that point, it'll be a damp squib because, people are bored of the game. It's like they've missed their window. And then I think in year 5, as we get into year 5, they'll probably make an announcement at the start of the season that's going to be the last season and that they're going to shut her up. And I don't blame them. I mean,
okay, so you think they'll wrap it up nicely like that? They won't pull a Heroes of the Storm and just like, isn't that what they did in HOTS, where they kind of played the game like everything's status quo, and then they flipped the switch and went, actually, never mind, and they had been strategizing that for a while. So I heard through the grapevine.
Yeah, I think basically what happened with Heroes of the Storm was that because Activision Blizzard they're just a fucking awful company where all the good people have been pushed out, and now it's populated by a bunch of fucking empty suits that have no respect for anyone in esports, despite the fact that they continually monetized this space. Basically, what happened was they told everyone internal to the company that Heroes of the Storm was winding down. They told all their friendly journalist friends that write nice glowing stories about Activision Blizzard and would never say a mean word about them because they love freebies and goodie bags and going to BlizzCon on their dime, because that's all it takes to bribe a journalist these days, because they've got no self-respect. And they knew weeks in advance. And yet all the independent casters, people who were like waiting to sign like, housing contracts about where they needed to live, what their commitments were going to be like, people that turned down work, they didn't tell them, and they literally just got told sort of secondhand by proxy, and then it eventually all just came tumbling out. In fact, the way they handled Heroes of the Storm was an absolute disgrace and showed nothing but disrespect to all of the players, all of the orgs. Keep in mind, there was orgs, if I remember, like Dignitas. They just signed a team 5 days before the announcement.
I think so. Yeah, I remember that headline. It's like, do you think Blizzard learned their lesson there? Do you think they feel guilty at all, or was
Blizzard
that all
don't
just
give
corporate?
No.
They don't give a shit.
It's not even about learning lessons. To learn lessons, you have to understand you are not the best. You are not the smart. Activision Blizzard is, again, it's the embodiment of corporate arrogance. It's what it's become. They don't think anything they do is bad. In fact, actually, I talk to people about it. Even people that I sort of like and have time for, they were like, "Oh, well, we didn't do anything wrong with Heroes of the Storm. The industry just wasn't ready."
No.
They don't. So they went into Overwatch not even having learned any of the mistakes from Heroes of the Storm.
That makes me even less optimistic about OWL, and I was already pretty cynical. Jesus,
yeah, of
man.
course. These people believe they are completely above reproach. Everything they do is the right thing. And when they make mistakes, they never self-reflect. They walk away, and they always make the assumption that it's the industry's fault, or the fans are too stupid, or if we didn't have the partners that we had.
Yeah.
It's going to be very interesting when Overwatch League does die, how they're going to sell it being anyone but their own incompetence. Because keep in mind, they got Robert Kraft and a bunch of other motherfuckers to sell this shit. So you're essentially saying they're stupid publicly. Have fun with that, Bobby Kotick.
Yeah.
See how many of your billionaire chums want to stick around after you sold them a lemon.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's insane. Activision Blizzard is just an awful company, dude. Just a rotten, awful company.
I think this
that loathe their consumers. They're just garbage.
This Twitch chat comment encapsulates how I feel about Blizzard almost perfectly, and I quote: "As a lifelong fan of Blizzard since Diablo 1, I would love to speak on their behalf, but goddamn, they are so good at fucking up their own IPs at this point." ... Exactly.
Yep,
I mean.
it's true.
Yeah, I was excited at the prospect of a Warcraft 4 after seeing what they did with Reforged. I almost hope they don't make Warcraft 4 and Mike Morhaine's new company develops something in its stead that's just better.
Yeah. Well, what I would like is I would actually like Activision to sell Blizzard off to another
that'd be
studio or company or something.
But those WoW subscriptions, they'll never do it because they brag about those WoW subscriptions every fucking stockholder meeting, dude. That's like a big part of their revenue. That's just free money at this point.
But I mean, I think they make more off Candy Crush.
You're right. You're very right.
So I'm just putting that out there.
I don't know.
And they did famously say as well
right.
at the start of the year, we are primarily a mobile gaming platform now. Like Overwatch will be released on mobile.
Oh, that'll be fun.
That'll be. There's your big step up in competition when the OWL pivots to becoming the Overwatch League Mobile Masters.
Well,
brought to you by T-Mobile.
Everybody's looking at PUBG Mobile and how it's really killing it in these specific regions like India and Southeast Asia and some parts of South America. And I think it is a cash cow. I mean, that game generates a shitload of revenue.
Of course, yeah.
And
they all do until they don't.
Exactly. And I don't know if Blizzard will be able to emulate that. Though in this same vein, one of the last things I wanted to ask you about, how hyped are you for the Pokemon MOBA? Do you have any confidence?
I'm too old for Pokemon, mate.
Well, but still, isn't Pokemon
the
perfect environment for a MOBA game? You got all these little creatures. They already fight each other. They've got these different elements and types that all counter each other. The drafting strategy, Richard. I mean, a Squirtle blasting a Charizard? Come on. This is what we've been waiting. We've been training all of our millennial lives for this. You're not hyped to watch the Pokemons battle it out? Fuck.
I'm more hyped when I watch Strokomon, the porn version of Pokemon. That gets me hyped.
I guess I should have known where that question was going, because I've never forgotten one of the first things you said after we met when I said, "Hey, can you add me on WhatsApp?" And you said, "Nah, mate, I don't do apps." And I said, "What the fuck does that mean? It's 2018." And you were like, I'm old, mate. I don't apps and me. We just don't get along." I'm like,
yeah, you have to understand. I've insulated myself from all the bullshit, mate. Like, there's never going to be any leaked WhatsApp chat, right? No one's ever going to find my dick pics. I just don't send them. I'm not about that. I'm not about that tech life. I don't have any of the problems you little Zoomers have. I'm above that, So, like, listen, it'd be weird if I was into Pokemon. My little brother played Pokemon. I used to take him to the fucking events.
Yeah.
So I took him to see Pokemon the movie and I had to fucking sit there with my eyes rolled up in my skull. What's all this shit?
I see.
All
right. You're too mature for this. I got
Yeah, exactly. I'm just too old. It's just not my generational thing. But it's like, listen, the one thing I'll say is I think it's been a hugely successful IP. I don't know why there's just thousands of Pokemon now, though. It just like
I can't keep up.
Like they're not even trying anymore. Like they were already stretching it, with like coughing, wheezing, and shit like that back in the day. The writing was already borderline terrible. But now it's like they're just not even trying anymore. It's like a fucking deer, and it's called like Deera.
Why didn't they just buy the Neopets IP, dude? They already made all the fucking Pokemon for you. You just got to scoop them up, reskin them a little bit. There you go. Save yourself a ton of development hours.
Yeah, I was there. I used to, like I said, when I was in that relationship, I used to. She had a daughter, and I used to go and play. What's that one? Pokemon Go. Is it where you go outside and you have to catch them?
Yeah, Pokemon,
which was good.
Go,
I think that's when I got down to 230 pounds.
Okay,
living that slim life.
That game was something.
Listen, anything that puts a smile on kids' faces is a good thing, and I know a lot of people have a lot of fond nostalgia for Pokemon. I'm all about that, and I'm never gonna be snooty and say Pokemon that shit. Like, I mean, I went to an Angry Birds esports event one time.
Really?
So yeah, no joke, in Finland.
Wow.
Yeah, they even had the guy who created it, because he's from Finland, out there doing a speech, but unfortunately it was in Finnish, so I didn't understand what the fuck was going on. But listen, I've never been snooty about any of that stuff. Like, anything could be an esport, and you like what you like, and go and have at it. And but yeah, it's just not for me. It's not my generation. I was like, if you want to talk about Transformers the movie, I even started watching Cobra Kai.
See,
recently.
We're not that far apart, but that's the age gap there. I kind of miss Transformers. I saw the movie with Shia LaBeouf, but I didn't get it with any nostalgia. It was Transformers weren't cool when I was a kid.
1986, Transformers the movie, Orson Welles' last cinematic role playing Unicron, the Planet Eater. It's got Eric Idle in there as Wreck-Gar, Lord of the Junk Bots. It's fucking great. It's one of the best cartoons of all time. But that's my jam. Unfortunately, I missed the window for Pokemon. But I don't begrudge anyone being into Pokemon, even if you're my age. I'd say it's fine.
Okay, well, that's good. There, you heard it here, folks. Richard gives you the thumbs up, all you Pokemon fans. You're not going to make fun of me on Twitter when my reel for the Pokemon MOBA casting gets leaked? My application to Nintendo. Please hire me. I want to cast Pokemon.
If you can get in on that, I think that'd be huge. You know, like I think
Nintendo's pretty PC, so I don't know, but I'm down to try.
I was watching this. There was like did you see that thing? There was a farm, like a farming simulator.
Oh, I have seen that league actually. The farming, because they have real sponsorships. They've got like John Deere and Cat, and like they've gotten those companies to sponsor their tractors being in the actual fucking game.
Yeah, and dude, it's $250,000 prize pool.
You getting in on that? You gonna assemble the squad?
So I went and looked at the viewership, and on a Saturday during COVID for their big farming league simulator esports event, 644 peak concurrent viewers. 644.
Yeah, they're struggling in the marketing department.
No, but I'd love to go over there. Think about it. Like, first of all, I think me being there, I'd just double their viewership straight away. So I look like I can bring 650 people. I'm that big. I can manage that, right? So they'll think I'm the best thing ever. And like, I just can't even imagine it. Imagine being sat there like, and he's putting the hay in the tractor and brilliant. I'd love to have a go at that.
Yeah.
Come and get me. Like, honestly, call my agent.
I don't have an agent. I think they do work with Freaks for You, so you know how to find them, buddy. That could be your next big gig. Richard Lewis brings you farming
I'd love to
simulator.
just do some like crazy shit like that. So if you can get into Pokemon and I'm doing farming league simulator, that's fucking brilliant.
All right.
That's the dream.
The future being established, dude. I like it. Dream big. That's what I always tell people. Go for it. Reach for the stars. Well, Rich, I thank you so much for your time again, buddy. 2.5 hours, I think the longest podcast we've got on record. These are weaved in between the Trent and Zyori podcast, which is super Dota focused, but in the others, I've been trying to get into this more candid conversation. We've had some real talk type podcasts in the esports space, but not enough of them, and this is the kind of content I like to enjoy, so I've been trying to dish it out and make it as well. So, Rich, man, thanks for sharing all that heavy stuff. I appreciate you being so candid and opening up, and I don't know, man. I look up to you in a lot of ways, so I appreciate you coming on my little show here. It makes me feel like I'm really somebody today.
Feelings mutual, and I'll just say this at the end, and I know we didn't talk about it, but I think what happened, we talked about Redeye getting a bum deal. I think what happened with you was fucking awful, and I talked about it on the Slack show. And, I've known you a long time, and I know that you're a good guy and a fucking good human being and would never hurt anyone else and would be mortified if you actually did. Probably your biggest sin was throwing that cup of water at Slacks, and who hasn't ever wanted to do that? So, I think what happened to you is bullshit, and I hope you're not getting any backlash from the Dota community, because that would be an outrage, even way more egregious than anything that happened to Paul. So.
Well, I appreciate you saying that, man. It means a lot, and we'll see. Only time will tell. There's not a lot of events right now in general, so it's not just me that's in a dry spell in terms of Dota talent work.
Yeah, I get it, man. But thanks for having me on. Keep in touch if you ever need anything. You know where to find me. I'll be in my house.
Absolutely, mate. And if you ever want to play a little Dota offline, I also like to play pubs offline, so people don't know I'm queuing. I'm garbage. I'm like Legend 1, Archon 5 right now. I'm pretty low.
Oh, that's. Yeah, I got
like 3K.
Yeah. I got like a Legend 5 account. We can
perfect. Yeah, if you're ever trying to hit some pubs, let out some rage on those Dota randoms, man. I'm in.
All right, cool. Appreciate it, man. Well, much love to you. Much love to your audience, and hopefully see you again soon, brother.
Yeah, very good. All right, folks. We'll see you next time on Zyori+1. Subscribe to the podcast if you enjoyed. This will be on YouTube, youtube.com/ZyoriTV if you joined us late. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.